they're just not ready for, with tiny gaps being opened up by Stacks, and then he's able to blow the whole round wide open because of it. It's so much fun to watch these guys play, and a big challenge for Loud, that's for sure. Let's toss it back over to the analyst desk and get this match kicked off.
Thank you so much, Mitch. And you know what? Let's actually pivot over to Loud, though, because this is a team that has had high highs and low lows without a doubt. And they showed that they still can keep themselves in it, especially with that clutch that they had, against Leviathan.
Yeah, in that Leviathan game, things were looking really pretty rough for them. They were down quite heavily on Icebox, but then they rallied and come back into things. And what I'm seeing from this team right now is really reminiscent of the way that they were playing back at Masters 1. In particular, with some of the late round adaptation. This round in particular was awesome. They have to read that Leviathan is going to go for the steep plant. Saucy spams. They shut down the spike planter and basically earn themselves a free round to continue to build. And you see how much that means for them, right? This is a team that really does build each other up when they're in these tough situations and makes these crazy comebacks happen because of that mental resiliency and their great adaptation.
That same resilience, because I think we caught glimpses of the cracks. I want this to be a good series the whole way throughout. I don't want to see anybody losing steam.
Yeah, I could not agree more. But one player that certainly won't be able to lose steam here because he's been playing so darn good is actually going to be Pankata from Loud. And let's just actually take a look at the numbers, because he is the best controller that is left in this tournament. Pankata has been really contributing so well here. I mean, stats-wise, just across the board, he's just been playing so well, Mimi.
Yeah, there's a lot of good controller players still left going, but I think it is fair that to say that he could be the best or one of the best, at least in terms of his performance thus far at this event. I think that the supportive line of Loud sometimes get lost behind the hype for players like Les and players like Ozbus, but Pankata's been great. A team that's kind of really good, like I've talked about in that late round adaptation. This guy's a big part of that in just the consistent performances that he puts up on the controller.
Yeah, he's just nasty. I mean, and this is going to be such an interesting battle as well, because we've got Pankata versus Mako, a guy who, you know, both of them making incredible names for themselves on the international stage, just really showing how well they can anchor sights and just, you know, at certain times, just top frag while playing smokes and whatnot. This is going to be an incredible bout between those two.
Yeah, I said the best, but one of the best, and really surrounded by an incredible crowd there. Sure, it is in fact very close. But look, this week we actually talked with Pankata about the pressures of playing in front of a crowd and what Loud's fan base means to the squad. Let's check it out.
Primeiramente, muito obrigado. Eu me sinto muito animado. Já fizemos história de ter passado da fase de grupos, então ganhar logo em sequência no primeiro jogo da estreia assim, dos playoffs deixa a gente muito animado, com muita confiança para as próximas partidas. Então, estreias são sempre muito difíceis, e ainda mais que era uma estreia que tinha público e nem todo mundo do nosso time já jogou assim, então tira um grande peso das nossas costas, então a gente vai entrar bem mais tranquilo para os próximos jogos. Então, essa confiança junta assim vem de tipo assim, todo mundo veio de bases parecidas no Brasil e a gente quer muito ganhar. A gente passou pelas mesmas coisas, lutando junto desde o final do ano. Então essas coisas deixam a gente mais forte.
Now it's going to be the Hunter's Fury as well, but Pankata, wonderful swing. Crosshair placement was fantastic.
Para nossos fãs, eu só quero agradecer mesmo todo o apoio diário que vocês têm dado pra gente. É muito importante. A gente consegue sempre abre as redes sociais, tem muito carinho de vocês, então isso afeta muito o nosso dia a dia. Só agradecer mesmo, muito obrigado. Fazer o nosso melhor em equipe para sair vitorioso nessa série.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Obviously, this squad knows the immense amount of pressure, and that is going to be a word that is used quite a bit to describe these squads and what they're going to be going through, as some of them representing whole regions, as we are pretty much at the tail end of this competition. But there is one head-to-head matchup that we should be keeping an eye on here today, and one I'm looking forward to. It's actually going to be Zest and Saucy. Both of these guys, you know, contributing a lot for these squads, putting up good numbers, Seth, and you know, this is going to be a matchup that will be very fun to check out once this game happens.
Oh, for sure. I
mean, everything they have is almost same.
A little bit of a soft start for him in the tournament, but then you take a look at that just slog of a series versus FPX, or at least that slog of that first map, going 19-17 on Ascent. And Zest was really the driving force. He was consistently there to trade kills and set up for Stacks to have these incredible clutches. He ends up, I think, at the end of that whole series across the two maps,
But
top
they talk
fragging
too much.
over
Can we
Buzz,
start
who
the game
in his own
already?
right was
Holy
also
shit.
playing incredibly well. Zest is absolutely paramount to the success of DRX here today.
Yeah, he's been absolutely insane. But it's the same true on the other side for
Sure.
Saucy. This is a guy that I think back in Copenhagen we had some critiques of when he was initially implementing that fade roll, moving away from the Sova. But coming into this event, he's looked really comfortable on that initiator. He's done a great job with the role changes for Loud, still setting his teammates up for success. And I think he's also just like a consistent, happy guy, helps to fill a little bit of that emotional leadership in the squad, and is really one of those players that can make a difference when he does have those step-up games for the supportive line of Loud.
Yeah, no, there's obviously so much more that we could talk about, but you guys know how this whole thing works. We're going to take a quick break, and then our first upper bracket playoff match of the day between Loud and DRX is going to take place just minutes away, so don't worry about it. We'll be right back.
Man, they talk too much. Why can't we just watch the game? They're gonna be another break because after the map, there's another advertisement. What do we do? Excuses playing.
Explosion is because she decided to throw water on a burning candle. Please do not do this. It's very silly. It's like throwing water onto a grease fire. Now you're going to see her. She has an even bigger problem on her hands. The glass actually exploded, and there is wax coming out of the side of the vessel. This is due to the heat. Now she has an even bigger mess to clean up.
Est-ce que la princesse Diana a été tuée par la famille royale? Comme promis, je partage avec vous les théories qui essayent de démontrer.
What the fuck do you think you're gonna do in my goddamn house? Leave my motherfucking yard now. Leave my motherfucking yard now.
The fuck is going on?
You want to stay here? I said fucking go. Don't fucking come back to my goddamn house.
Jesus Christ, I don't know if it's real or not, but I actually props to this guy to keep his cool, man. I thought he was gonna absolutely insta-clap this guy. Like he should have, to be honest. What?
What happened?
Oh, now I'm just gonna
Huh? What the fuck do you think you're gonna do in my goddamn house? Leave my motherfucking yard now. Leave my motherfucking yard now before you get fucked
Oh, I see. He was getting.
Yeah, see, same thing this guy says. I see the same thing.
Oh, get a load of this. So my daughter comes by the house the other day, tells me and my wife that she's non-binary now. I was like, oh, well that's interesting. Guess what? I'm non-paying your rent anymore.
Wow, what a stupid bitch.
What?
I am spending all now.
Copyright music.
Good session, bro. Yeah, it was right still. Oh, sorry, man.
What was that?
DRX won't choke. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, Nats is a free agent. Holy shit.
Hey, don't worry, I got you, fam. What do you mean? What are you saying? Oh my god. Why'd you do that? Don't worry, I'll get your back, man. Hey, take your bag. Let's get out of here, bro. I had a question, yeah, but it's a bit of a crazy one. Would you... Hey, what you doing, your blood clot?
What did I do? We're friends. Okay. Yeah. Hug? Oh!
But he's a fucking kid.
You want to
bro.
know?
쉽지 않은 여정이었지만 그래도 저희가 준비한 걸 그대로 보여주려고 노력하고 있습니다.
Hey, alright, love stacks.
lutando junto desde o final do ano e a gente quer muito ganhar.
처음 라우드랑 경기를 해보는데 굉장히 기대가 되고
Um jogo contra a DRX com certeza é um jogo muito pegado.
이기려고 노력을 하고 있고 무조건 이기도록 하겠습니다.
Só desejo boa sorte, que a gente possa fazer um grande espetáculo para essa torcida.
다음 경기 날 보겠습니다.
Yeah, after Copenhagen, X has been used to being the underdog. We thrive off of that adversity.
Haters hushed! Doubters damned! X set advance! Here we go!
Just another domestic matchup. No real pressure there. We played against each other so many times, it just comes down to mind games.
I still want to beat Optic and claim the title as best team of North America.
We have a ton of experience over XSET for sure, but more than anything else, we're the most talented roster that NA has put together ever.
But Optic hasn't been good this tournament.
We don't have as much LAN experience, but we do bring a new look onto the game, and we have a lot of pop-off potential in all of our players.
They have a talented group of people, but I wouldn't expect them to win.
To Optic, good luck and be ready.
And of course, we are really elated to have Benkai joining us yet again. Benkai, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, I'm good. Yes, they've decided to bring me back on because I'm obviously DRX's lucky charm. The last time I was here, they dominated the opponent, so I'm back.
That's why he's back. For that reason and that reason only. Not because he's like really good at the game and like understands it at an incredibly deep level. Surely not those reasons. But guys, I think we all know what we got to do here. There's only one thing left, and that is to activate the champion stage. Light it up.
DRX. Optic. Exit.
Let's dive into these map vetoes, see where we're going to be going here, Mimi. A lot of options, obviously. Curious where Pearl's going to sit.
Yeah, my question is who gets rid of it first? Because both these teams have shown that they do want to ban it out of the pool. Loud, though, after that crushing loss to Optic, get rid of it first.
Yeah, I think DRX just widely looking to stray away from it. It is new territory. The last time they mucked around with stuff like that, they got kicked in the face by Fnatic on Fracture. So they're just trying to avoid the newer map. Ascent going to be banned away, and Loud are actually electing to pick Breeze.
I think it's a bold choice. That map has looked solid for DRX in the past, but definitely a little bit more comfortable for that Brazilian squad.
They do have the win 13-7 over Optic, and they have plenty of tape to watch DRX and how they play this map, so I'll be curious to see if the comps do change when we get ready to go into that one. Because if they can try to slow down Buzz on these entries, it would be a very big boon for the side of Loud. It's going to be DRX starting on the attack, and Haven open. I mean, this is Old Faithful for DRX. As long as the game has been out, this has been in their pool. This has been comfortable.
And it's one that Loud has shown that they've wanted to ban in the past, but now because they've struggled so much on Pearl, they're kind of forced to throw away their first ban on that map against any team that's willing to play it. You just cannot risk leaving Pearl open, so you give DRX one of their best.
Yeah, I mean, historically, one of the best. We've seen it from them, I believe, just once, 13-4 when they shut out Furia. And okay, Fracture as well, going to be banned by Loud.
Yeah, now options for DRX. Do you want the bind or do you want the icebox? They have not shown their icebox in quite a while. They were banning it for a turn. I'd expect them to prefer the bind here, but actually they want to go more towards the icebox. Bind would have been quite even territory in this series. Instead, icebox is where we'll land as that decider.
It's been a really long time since we've seen them play icebox. They floated it once this event. We have not seen them play it.
Yeah.
It was against FPX. They left it open for a third map. We didn't make it that far. They were able to close out the series with a 2-0. In fact, they haven't dropped a single map so far in their tournament run yet. But this, if they're gonna drop one, this could very well be the first time because Loud are a team to respect.
Yeah, and I guess you would see why DRX would choose Icebox, probably because they watched how Loud played against Leviathan.
Right.
Yeah, they had a pretty slow start, so I'm expecting DRX to maybe take advantage of their slow starts and just really like try to punch a hole in the wall and just carry that momentum to bring them throughout that third map.
Well, now I'm just curious, like, it looks like this is very good for DRX. I mean, am I crazy in thinking that?
I think I'd agree with you there. I think this is a really solid map pool for DRX. I think the biggest question does lie with that icebox, because Loud has looked, I didn't think they were that terrible. They obviously have shown that map before, but if you can adapt on the fly to what DRX pulls out there, it's still a very winnable pool for Loud.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a little bathroom break here, get a snack run, you know, maybe a little micro nap. I used to do that back when I was a social worker, because our first match of the day kicks off in just a few minutes. DRX Loud, you don't want to miss it. See you soon.
Another fucking ad, bro. What? Why, bro? Bro, what? Chill, bro. Chill. 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 Chill! Oh, I need a secret lab. Bro, it was the ad. What? It was still the ad. I thought it's finished. Fucking shit. Yeah, I definitely did.
Watch the guy that watches.
Ghost in hand, rifle upgrade.
Oh fuck, no, I'm not watching. Didn't I just say that in last stream? Yo, link me this video. No.
Hello, guys.
Where can I see this video, bro?
Hello, guys. It's Yampi from Team Liquid here.
Yumpy.
Hello, guys. It's Yampi.
Let's see this.
Hey guys, my name is Cream from Team Liquid. Today we're doing the first episode of Valorant Fundamentals.
Shit, it's, they can Pavel looks so cute.
Less. Stacks. Pancado. Buzz.
Buzz.
BZK.
BZK.
Tammy.
The voice is so bad, I won't die.
Here we go, an upper bracket final. Two kings in their respective regions vying for domination in the upper bracket. Mimi, you couldn't ask for a better clash, a better international clash than this right here, champions.
And somehow still neither of these teams have met each other before.
That's wild.
At an international event, both of them have had consistently strong placements. But only one can stay alive in this upper bracket, can make their way to a top 3 finish guaranteed.
I'm both just carrying the pride of their regions on their backs right now, trying to escort them into the top 4.
I think I will be back for extended update.
And for DRX, it'd be for the very first time. Either way, the pressure mounting on these players. I mean, I'm sure, Benkai, you can speak to how much pressure you feel when you're in this moment, when you know you can get into that top 4 spot.
Yes, but obviously these two teams are like battle-hardened veterans by now. They know how to handle the pressure. And I think this time, as me here on the desk as the advocate for Asian Valorant, I think this is the time where narratives are going to be rewritten and cursors are going to be lifted. I think DRX are going to have this one.
Wow. I was going to ask for a little prediction after we did the Asian select, but you just...
He doesn't even see what they're playing.
You know, it is interesting, though, because when it was DRX FPX, you were so confident. Like, what gives you that confidence in DRX?
It's just a continuous feeling of, like, this has to be the time where they perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always get so close, but I feel like surely by now they just know how to handle those nerves. They are always losing to themselves.
Yeah, well, here's a Prime Gaming Agent select, and hey, you know what? The enemy could very well be yourself in this situation. But Mimi, I'm curious to see what we end up getting here between these two teams.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where Loud want to go. They've shown a Cypher comp, they've also shown a Chamber comp, and it looks like they're going to head their way back to their prior composition, playing RB on that Chamber, playing Buzz on the Jet. On the other side, though, for Loud, this is actually the team I was thinking of with the Cypher, and they do return to it, so excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're just going to be bringing this one back out, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go when they did go ahead and decide to pilot this, but honestly, we saw so much value found for less. He managed to pick up, what, 17-12 as far as his KD is concerned, and he was consistently slowing down or shutting down the entries onto the sites, and that could be incredibly valuable when you have Buzz who wants to get into a site quickly. If you can catch him with that tripwire, that's going to really slow things up and maybe even just cost him his life.
Yeah, and for the other side here, will be DRX returning to their normal. They play a little different than some other teams, generally bringing that Sky instead of that KO, but it oftentimes does just come down to the personal.
Actually, I didn't realize what the first map.
By bringing that
I even watched the map pool.
I think the most interesting thing about this head-to-head is the Chamber versus the Cypher.
Breeze.
There's not a whole ton of variation on Breeze, but we do get a clear-cut head-to-head here, Benkai.
Yeah, and especially, I think DRX's composition is maybe slightly better than Loud's current one because they have the Skydog and they have so many utilities that can just break the tripwires. And knowing DRX, they're going to be really methodical with going into the bomb site, and they're just going to use the shock darts and the dots to just clear those traps.
All right, well, we're all set for map 1. These two upper bracket powerhouses are going to clash. So let's go ahead and send it over to our casters who's going to bring the energy. It's Mitch and Tom.
It's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so
on
much,
the board.
GB.
I hate
Tom,
these
I'm
two
ready to
casters.
kick this one off loud.
I hate actually
DRX,
every
a
Valorant
breeze
caster
to
one
start
night.
it, and util heavy comps for DRX are always such a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it's a really interesting map pool, actually, I think, as a whole, because I do think that DRX have done a very good job of almost pushing Loud to exactly where they want them to be. Okay, maybe the Icebox at the end is a little bit of an interesting one, as they haven't played it in so long, but these first two are two of their strongest maps within the pool at the moment, so I almost feel like it's up to Loud to show us what they they've got here today.
Loud are no fools. They come in today knowing that these are the maps that are probably going to be played, at least for Breeze, right? With the way that they're going to be rolling.
That was the interesting.
It could have caught them with a little curveball, but I imagine they're picking Breeze. They know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
They know what they're up against. They haven't come in and gone, oh wait, is this a strong map for DRX? But it's a whole different thing when you put that into practice. We're diving into the rounds. The barriers will be going up shortly, and DRX will be mounting their attack. We see so many ghosts in play, but one man over on Loud's even gone in for the Sheriff. Excited to see what Aspis can do. He hasn't had the best tournament so far, and massively underperforming compared to some previous events.
Yeah, the last game we saw the real Aspas. That was where he was able to really step up and show us what he's got, but ultimately, it's whether he can keep that up consistently. And the man on the other side of things, Buzz, has been insane the whole tournament.
Absolutely. He's currently the second highest rated player next to Ye, which, you know, pretty solid achievement for a man that...
Not a bad man to be second to.
Absolutely. And Buzz, you know, he hasn't always had the best of tournaments when he reaches this international stage, so it's a pleasure to see him actually start to step it up. Now, we'll get into more of the conversation around the stats and the players a little later. For now, it looks like that Sheriff's about to be challenged. Aspis happy to concede the ground after just the shot, the information, and, well, they're going to have to play back into this site, back behind the wall, but Sassy still has a recon to play with. It's going to be making its way into the site anytime now.
Well, they spotted the cam at least, so that's not going to cause them too much troubles later into the round. A full retake, though, is not the most common setup going into these pistol rounds. It can be quite difficult to get back in, especially with no damage done.
Some ideas there. Aspis putting a ping down and then spamming through the wall, but he's not going to find anything, and Stax has grabbed one. The flash now primed and ready, and Buzz is going to utilize that, but the shots are not connected. And with Stax going down, the site is now lost. DRX have to fight their way back in, and they've now lost window as well. Everything's falling apart for the Koreans. RB is the last bastion, and he will fall as well. The round goes to Loud as they pick up their pistol.
Unlucky he dodged their flash, but the flash was
solid
really nice.
retake from them. It was looking very shaky, especially with some of the afterplant positions, like having to clear out 3 different players from those backlines, and Pancada does an incredible job of it. We saw the stats earlier on. I feel like the stat sheet was a little bit unreliable, putting Sadak at the top with only 2 games currently on Viper.
He's a Viper main
He's not even playing Viper in this game. It's just
don't worry
doing
about it.
But I do think Pancada has been one of the best players, especially for this Loud squad, but also just in general on the controllers. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, he has. The rest of the team, though, like, it's an interesting face to Loud. You got the last event. We had Aspis in the top 10. He was having a solid bunch of games start to finish. You look at it this time around, and actually, there's no Loud players in the top 10. There's none in the top 15. You've got Les as the highest rated player. He's number 16, and Aspis has found himself in 26. So it's definitely been a fall off from previous events, but maybe just slow to start and warm up. They're only against pistols here. Classics already netting themselves 1 kill. Damage here is the name of the game. You don't expect to walk out with a victory. And with the reinforcements already here, that's pretty much out of the question. The only thing is, can they manage to drop 1 or 2 more weapons and make this one expensive? And already this is a success.
Yeah, it's going to be the farm up for less, which unfortunately is not going to be the most useful ultimate to have going into this 3rd round. I actually look at it slightly differently, though, with Loud. I look at it as their team has consistently been good across every single player, that they haven't needed that superstar. I would be very worried going into this match, for example, if Buzz didn't perform.
Yes.
I think that means Loud win, hands down.
For sure.
I think that's the other side of the coin is Loud have been so good across every single player. DRX have some incredible players, but if they go missing, they could be in real trouble.
That's exactly it. I mean, having a well-rounded team, not having a guy number 1 in the event and top 5, it doesn't even matter. As long as you're all performing to the level you need to be, they're going to keep pushing forward. Loud have caught them completely off guard. They thought maybe the presence they've shown would be enough to deter them, but no. Loud come in with a brave face and an opening duel, giving them a rifle to play with and completely dismantling DRX's plans. They're looking for space elsewhere, and a good shot by Zest and a push up through halls could buy them a little bit more room to play with.
Yeah, bear in mind this bonus round on the side of Loud actually has rifles on every single player, so it's still very dangerous and something that DRX definitely have to take their time with. I think after that initial aggression, just slowing things back down, making sure things don't get too far out of control, and resetting back into this A-site take. The problem is, though, they're pushing into what is normally your 2-site anchors, so this is going to be tough.
Well, That snake bite should slow them down, but one man's already gone in. Buzz is on the site, another snake bite coming his way, stopping that wide swing from coming in. There's a gap, and he's trying to find the angle on it. So is Pancata, though, returning fire, and the shots are landing. Good damage done, but he's surrounded. Taken down, another kill for DRX. With the players sitting inside of halls, well, he can't quite help out his teammate. Loud are starting to chip away at these players and still having the rifles. This makes it very intimidating for DRX. They're going to concede the site and try to play the post plans, but even then, Mako only has the one snake bite. They're going to have to rely on duels bringing it across the line.
Yeah, well, at least he gets the snake bite out before they actually get
defusing?
it. No, it's just
missed the
removed,
bite?
but Marco's managed to actually hit the shot. It comes down to the 1v1 with it already, 1v2, and with it already halved, they have to peek into this one. Marco is going to be landing that final shot, and DRX, okay, it's costly, but they've got themselves on the board, and Marco actually getting that many kills is going to have himself the ult.
This is something we've seen from FPX many times, right? The ability to deal damage in rounds like this, just exaggerated by the sheer quantity of rifles you're bringing into what should be a low-buy round, but this has come way too close. In the dueling ability, Loud have matched up 1-to-1 easy, and outside of that, they were seconds away, not even seconds, a second away from getting that defuse from right under their nose. That could have went badly wrong. It didn't. DRX win the round, but they'll pay for it fiscally as they move into this with all their credits on the line. But a fantastic opening duel by Buzz. He's taken that inside of double doors by the looks of it. Just a straight swing from both players that leaves the attackers with the advantage.
Now we have to see how Loud are actually going to adapt to this. Again, it was mentioned on the desk, a lot of that utility is expected to be removed by Sky, but with the dog already gone, they might have to do that a little bit more manually. The thing is, though, with this advantage, you can see DRX slowly resetting into that take of B. Aspas is already here, and they are going to be walking into Les's trap.
Two of them, in fact. And look at the updraft trap. I mean, you don't see that every single day, but he's going to try to get past it in theory and get caught by it. Maybe the drone at least will be found, and indeed it is on the way through. Aspas not able to catch those kills. I mean, they've got the info, but not yet able to capitalize on it. At least they'll find the one, and an attempted swing reveals there's at least two here. The player's ready to duel, but so is RB. A fantastic opening for DRX as they steal this site away from Loud and leave Pancata all alone. That was close. That was very close.
It needs to be a lot closer, though, if he's actually going to be able to do anything in this round.
He hasn't used the Viper.
Credits in the bin.
Viper ult.
Maybe if he gets a few orbs, that would be something. Get the Viper's Pit, might give them an opportunity going into the next round. The fact is, DRX didn't even have to really use that much either. They didn't use the Viper's Pit. They've still got Seekers for the next one, so they could even use that just as an eco buffer if they wanted to. Back harder. Oh, actually, they're facing the wrong way. They've just almost walked past each other. He might get a couple of kills here on the way out. That's at least a first, but RB is going to manage to spin on a dime and take him out instead. 2 and 2. DRX stabilized very quickly indeed. And now, well, as said, economy in the bin.
Yeah, the danger was there that DRX would end up in the same position. Loud now find themselves in. Look at this opening. Absolutely fantastic. Seeing the feet and tapping away. And RB, that kill, plus he's 31 HP coming out of this engagement, puts him one away from his ultimate moving into the next round. They even have the choice to drop a weapon and run that if you wanted to. But up against this kind of buy from Loud, it is just one that you want to play conventionally and win off the advantages that you come into the round with. A little bit of a risk taken here, RB on the other side of the map. Now, if Loud can manage to isolate him in a duel and pick that rifle up, that's already a success for them.
Yeah. Easier said than done. Maybe not. Damn. All right.
Look pretty easy to me.
Les is on form at the moment. Top of the board, 8 kills already. And he's going to get a rifle for Aspas. Now, even if he gets 1 kill, Bladestorm, I don't think he's going to be able to juggle around the weapon just because of his position, but maybe he can take over. Again, though, DRX slowing things back down, waiting patiently, and it's only going to be that 1-for-1 trade.
Still, in a round like this, leaving your teammates with an advantage, they have the Marshal to play with, they have Sheriffs to follow up. This could be huge. It is a gun gone, but look, for 2 trades, you will take that every day of the week. And Les has really just been on fire, like I said. Look at these traps, changing it up. We had the updraft trap previously, and it also caught the drone on the way through. This time, waiting to allow them to move back. And this is the part of the map they've been pushing to. When they take B control, they've been sending 2 or 3 players to fight back left. Now they'll have some trouble. They've even put a shock dart down to break a trap that isn't there. And they might even think, oh, maybe Cypher's not around here. Maybe his traps aren't here. Oh, if they turn, they'd see him. Just in time, they've spotted less, removed the traps, even got some info because they're going to see them now and know, okay, keep an eye for those in future rounds.
Yeah, this is where things should become quite easy. They're actually going to use the Viper Spears.
That's interesting.
Especially considering they should know at this point they're up against pistols. Maybe worried about that rifle being picked up from behind, but still quite a heavy investment. Sadak, though, is going to be able to drop one. This leaves things problematic as they're looking to try and wrap through Pancada with another. It's getting very dangerous, but Marco still lies within this pit. Always a nuisance to try and clear the flash. It's perfect, but they go past each other. They don't even realize. Finally, Sadak will turn around and actually they will clear him out. The question is, do they have the time? And it looks like they do comfortably.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's a resounding yes on that. The defuse coming through with 4 seconds left on the clock. And so unfortunate if you're DRX, you're going to be scratching your head as to how Pancada made it there. But Zest put out a drone. He watched behind them. It came through. It cleared elbow. It cleared their back. Watched for the gun being picked up. But he had just slipped past it, leading them to think they were a lot more free than they were. That is an unbelievable round from Loud, coming in with 4 sheriffs and a marshal. And it's Aspis getting those first 2 duels, putting the numbers in their favor, putting DRX on the back foot.
The lucky thing, though, is on the other side, they've got so many ults that it doesn't even matter that much. Tour de force straight through. They can even use themselves, the knives as well, if they really need to in the late round. So it is very costly, and the round going to Loud is huge, but at least DRX on in the bin.
Yeah, it was starting to feel like maybe DRX had that commanded control over the early round, but what a fantastic answer from Loud. I thought even the 2 kills they started with just set them up to do a decent bit of damage, you know, making an okay eco, but the round win, they've propelled themselves back into the lead. Now this hold on B side, again, a completely different setup from these traps. It's the benefit of running the Cypher. If you're able to just keep them guessing, even going to burn utility like we saw before. Now the drone making its way through B main. It's not even spotted the trap, I believe. This could be very dangerous. Even though they get themselves onto the site, there's so much more to worry about. They have destroyed the trap on the way through, though, luckily, and they'll make their way in for the plant. That Blade Storm lurking around spawn, yet to really land any of those knives.
Hunter's Fury in the after plant as well. You can already see that Zest is walking all the way back just to try and reclaim deep control. They are going to be able to remove some of the utility up close, but look how far away he is. Just making sure that ult will be used no matter what happens here, if they need it. Clearing Buzz, already the first point of call, and they failed at it. He's still sticking around in the back lines, and they need to get rid of him before they can do anything. They are starting to get some damage done, Mitch, but the problem is, until he goes down, they don't have anywhere near the site. Even still, the time is ticking. Buzz already going to get one more, and eventually it all falls apart. A good after plant scenario for DRX, and again, it's those faster V-takes that have been causing real issue.
He saw Aspis on the way back through because of the little skirmish around mid and trying to catch them on the way through B main. He only had that 1 knife remaining and went to get a rifle. Couldn't really do it with that. Buzz taking the space, grabbing them that opening and staying alive to delete Sadak. I mean, the round could have fallen apart completely had he been able to keep running around. That snake bite might not have made it down. But in the end, they've managed to put it up 3-3, tie up the scoreline, and push Loud again to a very weak bye. But look at what they've got to start the round off with. An entire portion of the map locked out by this Viper's Pit.
Yeah, it's still bold, though, because they only have 2 rifles to play with. Oh, Aspas! He's been pushing elbow quite regularly, and with the information they got, it was something, but instead, Hunter's Fury already used so much info guarded, and it is an easy cleanup for DRX. This was a pretty decent investment on a couple of players, still having enough to buy into the next round, but Mitch, they got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw those players swinging out after the Hunter's Fury tagged up less. They wanted to swing Aspis and Sassy to provide a bit of support, thinking he was about to be pushed, wall-banged or scanned up again, but instead, they met Stax, who was ready and waiting for that covering fire. Sadak, he's managed to recover a rifle at least, but the chances don't prove that much. You can see DRX in complete control right now with Pancada. Well, he'll find the 1 and maybe start farming up that ult again. I don't know that he has the time to get this done. Still got his wall to play with, so he can maybe block off some vision. But that's about where the hope ends.
He's got to almost just, again, try and do as much damage as he can, and he's going to get absolutely
Don't
nothing
give
for
them
it.
the
DRX
old
break
orbs.
back very easily indeed, it seems. And these B takes have just been fantastic from them. And that's the thing, a lot of teams do almost try to avoid heading into this B site so regularly. Like the A site execution, the after plant.
Nah,
and that's
bro,
the most
Stack's
common point of
insane.
call on this map, just because how easy it is to get into after plant positions with the same Viper screen we see every single time. I feel like they're almost just putting the pressure on. Although Les is at the top of the board as that defender, there's only so much he can do, and the retakes thus far from Loud have been inconsistent.
Well, that's the thing, you know, and you look at DRX, this is one of the best chances they've had to break the mold that they've set or been set in for so long. They've been in this position twice this year alone. International event, exact same spot in the bracket, and the same color scheme as well. They were up against the green wall of Optic both times, and they were the ones that knocked them down below. I think they'll be a little bit happier to face a new opponent, one that doesn't know them as well.
It seems that everyone wants that. Nobody wants these same
giving me the
rematches.
same guys.
Like, I know that I'm sure the XSET guys, they're like, yeah, we want to prove we're the best team in NA. It's like, but do you want to for the 16th time? Like, have this fight? I think it's the same for the, like, I'm sure when Liquid and Fnatic happened, both teams just went, right,
Here we are.
this is
Here
how
we
it would
are.
end out. Champions, isn't it? One of us has to go home. And of course, I almost feel like we're leading towards an FPX Fnatic. I'm just looking at that lower bracket, I'm like, I can see it happening again.
Yeah, I mean, there's some powerful teams to be knocked back down there for that rematch to
Definitely.
even be possible, but right here we're going to be DRX looking to send Loud that way. And with this being Loud's map pick, Tom, what are our expectations to close out this half? I mean, Loud currently on 3. Feels like they could have had more, but at the same time, the eco round they won gave them that little injection to equalize. I can still see this half slipping away from them if they're not careful.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, because I feel like they definitely can still do it on that attacking side, but DRX are very good at the attack. So it's an odd one. Like I feel like we could end up almost somewhat level here, and neither team ends up with a massive advantage just because of how DRX actually likes to play the map.
Well, in this 8th round, we've already seen the trap destroyed, and that has taken a lot of DRX's focus. Clearing out cave, making sure there's nobody close on the boxes or anything like that. You see even the ping just there. It's gone down inside a cave because they're worried about maybe he's gone all the way through. Maybe that's why he's not at the box. But now they've seen they've wasted, I don't want to say wasted. It was wise to check it. But a minute's off the clock and they've got to do something. And all of them are stacked up to A.
There's not much to delay on this A side of the map. Okay, you've got a single fragment which Sadak will be able to throw out, and then it will give a little bit of time for Sassy. He might even just want to try and slow them out with a Hunter's Fury if they continue in this direction.
Sarak's using a
But
Vandal.
because of how slow DRX
Looks
have
so
been,
awkward
we've
in
got
his hand.
just 2 players defending this A site to maybe even 4.
Yeah, I mean, they think they've won it because they've reset their cycle of utility, right? The Viper on the defensive side is now out of util, but on the attack, they've got plenty still. That's such a good tag. Sassy revealing, assisting that way, but it's the kill as well to follow. This leaves DRX with basically no hope. They've got to get in here and plant right here and now. The attempt is being made. Loud rushing in to try and stop it, to halt the plant before it comes through, but they
Mako
missed.
wins it.
The plant was on the back of the site, and Pancada now has to clutch again. The Viper on the other side, just running out of Viper's screen. Mako rotating around the pyramid now, about to take the fight. Pancada's looking elsewhere! The timing couldn't be better!
Didn't he know he's the
DRX
planter?
have crushed Loud's economy, and the lead is well and truly theirs.
He has to know he's the planter.
Today, if you were looking
I
at
can't
the majority
believe
of
this.
controllers, you'd have number 1 and number 2 as the 2 controllers we currently have in this matchup. Like Marco, even going back to the last event, the amount of assists he was able to pull off was just truly absurd. The thing is, Sassy does a lot with how much he reveals, but the battles on the actual site are being won in the meantime by DRX. So even though they get down to the 10-second marker, they were able to stabilize even within all of that havoc. And again, it just shows how good the structure and almost the control this team has.
One small piece of utility remaining for Loud, and that round could have fallen apart completely.
Why does it all look in
There you
slow
go, another
motion?
shock dart burned up. I mean, just look, they're using both shock darts and still not destroying the traps. Buzz has gone down on the way through. We've seen Loud do this before. For DRX, the story of today is stopping history from repeating itself. They need to do that here and now.
Shit, he
The
needs to
pistol
hit these
still not
shots.
being dealt with. Sassy will fall. But look at the swing on the back of the site. So much firepower here for Loud, but in the end, they only managed to hold out. not take anyone else from DRX down. RB surviving that round with 1 health, stacks on 10. But DRX still keep that economy in such a flourishing position.
Yeah, and again, it's those fast
Aspas
beat
with
takes.
finally an
I've said it already. Like Les has been doing a decent job. I think Pancada even getting the opener there. But it's just, it doesn't seem like the synergy between them is that great. Like, you would know even towards the end of that round, a lot of the duels were able to be isolated just because they were slightly off. And sure, they had weaker weaponry. I think we can give them that excuse, but there was a real opportunity for them to steal that round away. Again, Viper's Pit is going to be online with the Blade Storm on the other side, but unless Buzz gets into some sort of clutch, I don't think he's going to use it.
Yeah, that's just being kept back pocket, or in case he's got some crazy ideas of updraft peaks. Now look, 3 rounds left to play
People
for.
use for second
seeing the scoreline
off
even
a lot.
wouldn't be too bad for either team, but looking at Loud right now, they have a ways to go to make that happen. DRX with the same approach. The movement up through mid, I mean, they've seen a lot of these trap wires playing on the B side again and again. They know maybe they don't have anything to cover this off. That control will be contested late round by RB. By the looks of it, he is just tucked in and waiting. The timing there was perfect. He saw the barrel. At least I think he might have. Either way, he's got the shot connected. The DRX now selling this massive fake information. There's a player on the A side. He's making a ton of noise. They've got through halls. They could be opening the door. But in fact, the entirety of the team is waiting outside B. This TP was set to go back to mid, and they've reset for a B take.
The thing is, this is going to be spotted. And they can probably hear this above them. They're eventually going to break it, but all the information is going to be there. It's just whether they can delay them enough. And I'm not so sure they can. Aspas within the smoke still manages to find a kill with the operator, evening things up, and they still haven't found his cam in the shrubbery.
Well, Les has gone down, so that'll do the job. But remember, Loud have held on here with pistols for so long in the past. Now, a rifle in hand, and it's the op to grab one. Good timing on the trades, and RB following.
Wait, they still lost?
Some great individual plays there for Loud. DRX always have their bases covered.
They just can't crack B, the defense. They can't do it. Again, every single time there's a cheeky cam or a trip or it's something that they walk into, and they still only lose like 1 or 2 players just because their trading is so effective that the second that player's position is revealed, somebody is there to pincer on it. You can see it there. The shot hits, stacks, instantly Marco swings. It's just that interplay between DRX right now, which is just proving too much to deal with. And for Loud, because they're playing so slow, even though they have these deep information positions, by the time they realize, it's already too late.
And sometimes you would have that being a bad trade, because if you imagine the Jet is further back on the corner and can back out, but there was a player watching that as well, so they actually knew Jet was like in the middle of the wall. Just perfect play, great information coming their way. Pancada for one, the snake bite, making it so much easier to take down Buzz with any weapon, but he takes the Guardian headshot. And it's return times 2. The pistol's at least able to do something. Rifle retrieved at what cost though? Zest has taken down all his teammates, and Sadix alone with a sliver of health. Oh, they did so well to start this out, Tom, but again, it's left in a near impossible scenario.
They've got the wrong ults in the wrong place. That's the only thing that really benefits him. But now Zest, he's been able to cross.
They don't even need the ults. 2 shock darts,
the thing is, at this time as well, like you might even just want to use it just for the hell of it. Like just go, okay, Hunter's Fury will guarantee the round. If he even touches it, let's just make sure he loses. I think DRX have been so strong that they've never really needed this ult for any other reason. And as I said, 1 tag will do enough, but even the time that is being bought is going to be far more problematic. Sadak having to be so careful that even in the late seconds, he's just going to try and stick it. Maybe there's a small angle, but eventually he is going to be wallbanged. DRX controlled again in the afterplant, and 8 rounds already on the attack. As I said, I think Loud are normally better defense. DRX are normally better on attack. It doesn't matter, DRX are smashing them.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, the mold being broken is almost out of the question. They're starting
What a shot, bro.
They won pistol and they've got 3 rounds.
They won pistol and an upset eco round.
Yeah,
remember, Sheriffs, they haven't won a single buy round, and this is just a terrible position to be in. I did love the attempt, though. If Sadak had caught both players with that flash, if they didn't have a recon on, they might not have heard him tap it. He might have been able to sneak it out from under their nose, but it wasn't to be this time. Loud, not able to get off the early foundation that they built. We're still at that same level, but look at this push coming through. Aspas changing up the game. It is being watched by RB. He might turn his eye at the wrong moment. We've seen timing be such an incredible feature of this game so far, but, well, he was spotting it
No kill to be found either way, but early aggression denied from Loud. They'll again find themselves boxed in and playing the same kind of rounds that haven't been fruitful for them so far.
As I said, like them
Aspas
finding
op
information
is really
has been
dope.
impossible just because
Yo,
how deep
what's up,
DRX have been
gamers?
playing and almost just feeling out the map.
How you
It
doing,
seems
brother?
like the calls that are coming through from Stacks have been sublime, and most of the time they've fallen back. I like this though. Something different, a mid-walk, trying to take some space, trying to remove some information from the other side, and maybe catching a rotation, but even still...
But they're
Left is
always
gonna go
pushing
down to
elbow.
Buzz.
They should have known better by
Flash
now,
from
right?
Sadak will at least slow them down, at least for a second, but...
But don't be a
they almost
9-3,
need
guys.
to
I think they
sprint to
should
get
lose
back to
this
B.
round
And here's the
on
problem,
purpose.
it's last that died. B-side has no utility, trap wires are gone, and Sadak
Oh, shit,
not
no
having
one
a good
can hit
time
their
in these
shots.
duels. Sure, you pick up the one, but so much more still to be done. Buzz had popped the Blade Storm here as it's the last round. He's trying to get some wall bang damage in. But as he's reloading, Aspas closes the space. Now he's nice and close, ready to fight, but Buzz takes out the Blade Storm, and he's ready
Big
to take
brain.
hits. One
Big
frag to
fucking
bring him
brain.
to 3.
He baited him in a
with Stacks,
reload,
Mako,
but
and
he had
Zest
a
alive, a
he had
Viper's pin in
knives.
play, a flash around, damage done, a drone in as well, and it's even getting the tag. Insult to injury here. There's practically no way short of divine intervention that Loud will be
Shots
winning
are
a buy
crisp.
round in this half, and this is their map pick, Tom. This is their side, and DRX have dismantled them.
Oh shit, this is loudspeak? Oh my
I feel
god.
like we're going to
Oh my
chuck this back
god.
over to the desk, and Achilles is going to have the biggest grade. Actually, let's just give it over to him now. He must be over the moon.
RB is performing. I'm so happy
I
RB is
just can't seem
performing.
to deal with just the clear bias on this side of the table. I'm kidding. But let's actually break this down a little bit here and try and find at least, you know, some high points maybe to talk about here for Loud. Maybe there aren't going to be a lot because they're 9-3 and a half. This is not the situation that Loud thought they would be in this map pick.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high points to sell. They didn't win a single rifle round in that half. That was DRX domination across the board. And I think the biggest question heading into this map was how will this Cypher play up against DRX? And Les did well individually. He was good. He was killing them. He was awesome. He's a great individual player. But his setups were getting absolutely no value because of the way DRX was playing. They were consistently pounding this B site and dismantling the setups every time, Benkai.
Yeah, it was literally exactly what I said they were gonna do. Like, DRX is a super heavy anti-strat team, and if Loud were gonna run the same comp that they did against Optic, DRX are gonna study the hell out of it, and it is very evident in the shock placement and the way that the drones cleared the path for the Jet to just dash in.
It just feels like a 4-coach difference when we're looking at the first half of that.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, now you're going to the situation, Seth, where we have a Loud that's going to be going on the attack that need to fish out some wins, but I just don't know if they have it.
It's really hard to say because we have a very limited exposure to Loud playing Breeze at this tournament. They only played it versus Optic. They only, you know, after changing sides, need to win, what, 2 more rounds or whatever. They dropped 5 consecutive rounds at the very beginning, losing out the pistol once they swapped over to the attacking side, but eventually they just beat Optic once, they beat him again in a follow-up, and then they were able to take the map. So we don't have that much tape on them. And DRX is still a very strong team. Coming into this one, 70% win rate on the attacking rounds, still above 50 with 55% win rate on the defense. With the way that they're playing right now, the way that Mako is playing right now, good luck getting into a side.
It feels like every single individual is having a great day for DRX. If the Kings of Brazil want to come back,
stream
they need something
and
huge.
cook at the same
they're
time.
gonna need to find it
I've
right
burned
here, right
food
now.
so
Let's send it
many
back
times.
over to Tom and Mitch for the second half.
Thank God we are watching, or else
Well, Tom,
it would have been a
certainly
GG.
not
When
a
I'm
lot
playing,
of
I
hope
can't
for
cook.
Loud
I just
moving
can't.
into this second half. It is their map pick is probably the only thing I could say, but even then, as we were talking about,
Loud
look
have
at that,
only
they've only
lost
lost it
Breeze
once
once
this
in
year.
this year.
The last game
Damn.
that they played, Tom,
Make
they
it
did a little
twice.
bit better on the defense.
They got 11 rounds. And even then, it started to look like it could go back in the other
Was it
direction.
versus a bad team at least?
No, it was versus Optic.
Oh, so a bad team. Oh, right, okay. So,
but like,
versus good
the
opposition.
thing. Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to turn this around. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of their offense because eventually they closed it out, and although Optic brought it back a little bit, they definitely need a pistol here. And the thing is, as Seth was saying, DRX are no slouches on this defense either.
The knife is so
Loud
sick.
is certainly upping the pace on the Halls push. We didn't see this for a while coming out of DRX, but right off the rip, that's where they're looking to apply the pressure, split in towards Buzz and leave him all by himself. And he'll get nothing done this time around. A solid connection from that Sheriff Aspas has been buying up.
they'll be able to get a plant and keep very deep control.
Really good opportunity for them here. Aspas playing up close, and already they're just slaughtering the remaining opposition. Stacks left. 1v5. Now, we have seen him do something like this before.
But not
I
a
remember
1v5,
a bind.
bro.
I remember the craziest clutch I think we had in that tournament. But I don't think he has the time to do it. Even any orbs that he can gain would be nice, and he's already starting to spot players behind him. That one should be free. Anything more, though? Yeah, that would be a surprise, and Aspas is going to make sure it doesn't go any further.
I mean, you had pretty much everybody being low. Sassy was the only guy who had close to 100 left with his 5 shields, but in the end, it's just a little too much to ask. Look, that is light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps, but let's remember the previous half. Loud won the pistol, the follow-up, an eco round, and outside of that, they got nothing done. They were caught with their pants down every single time at DRX. Sure, they don't win this pistol either, but if you lose both pistols and you're leading by 5, it's a pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah, and they're not going to really be taking any risks in this round either. Like, basically nothing invested. RB didn't even buy headhunter bullets, so they really aren't putting anything into this round. It's just like, you know what, we're the kings of the buy rounds, let's just wait for those to come along. And even still, Buzz has done a little bit of damage. Now, realistically, that means nobody should drop in this round for the side of Loud.
Yeah, especially when you've already got the site control. I think it comes to overextensions, realistically, and with the investment you've got, you cannot allow overextensions to happen. Those mistakes can't be coming through, and Les is holding back 125 HP. It's going to be a tough fight for Zest. It has to be a whiff from Les to give him any chance, and it's clean as can be. As you said, no headhunter for RB.
Is this a comeback?
Don't really know what he can do here. Maybe try capitalize off that tiny bit of damage his teammate just did, but short of that, it'll be dying to the spike.
It's a really interesting angle to actually try and hold. Obviously, it's one that could allow him to die to the spike later or maybe just catch someone, but I'd be surprised if anybody really went up in that direction. I guess just trying to make sure he's not giving any extra orbs, nothing to play with going into the next, and yeah, he'll go down to the spike instead.
God, it would have been hilarious if they planted in like the further corner.
it just didn't
He's just like staring at the wall like, oh no. Guess I'm playing headhunter next round. Well, with that, DRX come out 9-5. They have a 4-round lead after losing both pistols and follow-ups, and a near flawless record when they've got rifles in their hands. Funnily enough, I mean when their opponents have rifles in
when
their
you
hands.
realize it's just 4 rounds, you know?
Flawless.
It's just 4 rounds.
10 seconds left till the barriers go up, and you can see this is a pretty concentrated push coming out of Loud. I mean, they've got no control anywhere, a trap and a cam watching behind. They're looking to take
But
A
then
and
you see it's like
I
it's
think we're going to see some aggression on the other side. Like already the Tiger
quite
coming
fucking
through is gonna give so
impossible.
much information that look at the rotation. Look straight away, DRX. 3 players on this side, a 4th one going through mid. They're going to have so many players here.
They need that. With the preference already shown to move towards this site right away from the pistol round. It's wise for DRX to still have players stacked up around here. Aspas on his way towards the site, clearing through.
Nice
Buzz
shot.
gets dropped. And Aspas is now making his way to the doorway, but that's when he gets caught by Zest. They had a
Nice
little trap
shot.
set up on back yellow and Halls. They've secured the control.
They've
And
landed
from
and
here,
they
they'll
just
look to fight their way back
adiosed.
into the site.
Like,
But look at how
tata,
far
bye-bye,
back
goodbye.
Loud have gone to.
Yeah.
They are all the way in the spawn. I mean, Mako's already fired off his snake bites. So he won't have anything to work with, whereas Pancada's got his. You've got 2 shock darts to
Line
work
up,
with.
Andy.
And I believe the orb should be on the spike as well.
It's going to be a lot of after plants. They at
Oh,
least
they
managed
knew.
to clear out the lurker. That means they are all coming from the same position, but with utility removed, and as you mentioned, basically so much damage being taken as they go anywhere near that spike. There shouldn't be much of an opportunity. Has got into Hawk, and then RB just wipes out everyone else. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to actually get the
Holy
defuse
shit,
through. That's
wow.
the only issue they have.
Of course they had time. They halved it, bro.
0.88. What a retake from DRX. That looked like there was no hope, but just quick clearance of that flank, and then just wiping out everyone else.
Unbelievable. I mean, DRX did everything right. That was the one,
In my opinion,
situation in the multiverse.
you
that
shouldn't.
got
Not
them the
everyone
win.
should leave
And it's
side.
this swing from RB, cleaning the last 2, buying the time. And buying the time.
They
even
cleared
then,
the
it's
side
less
in
than a
like 1
that it
second,
comes
bro.
down to 5 between them, and if you're Loud, that's a devastating loss. But because of the way they played the early round, and we saw this before, they are able to come back in here with a bye. Ultimately, though, I think they'll look at it like, if we can't close a round like that, then it doesn't matter if we're buying. They've got to solve those issues. That cannot happen again.
A walk up the tube. They managed to get quite far in the last round with not so much of a challenge. It has been spotted by Zesta straight away.
9
They're going
triggers.
to pop out that null command, the flash to try and take that extra space, although we haven't seen the move yet from Aspas for the dash across. Will give an opportunity. No trade back, though.
You know, Static's only down on the stairs, but I don't think anyone's going to be getting him up. He's at least a Cypher cam for now. Spotting it out. No one's walking up to yellow. Can feed that info over. Zest waiting for him to pass, and then they'll start to make their move. Again, look at what they're up against. Shock darts for Sassy, but no snake bites in play for Pancada. They'll be playing up a lot closer to the site this time, trying to catch them as they make their way through. Sassy, first point of
Their
contact
Viper is
perhaps,
dead,
and
though.
shots are hit clean as can be.
Another
That's
4
a
point,
much better
4
hold
rounds.
Loud.
Yeah, and I like the fact that this time
Sounds
they
so
actually
easy, bro.
have
Just
a
4 rounds,
proper
easy.
setup out of the door. They know it's okay, we can take this control relatively easy. We have ourselves the null command, which will shut out all of the utility of those passive players, so it means that our entry in towards the A site will have no utility to delay us either. And then you're just able to use Aspas as like, okay, I'm the distraction plan as my IGL peaks to take the fight. Really solid setup from them. After plant, much more stable, and this time there was nothing DRX can do. And that's likely a theme that's going to continue into this next round because they don't have much available to them whatsoever.
I did enjoy the fact that, you know, the round before, we saw Aspas walking up halls, open the door, and then what he ended up meeting was Mako's Poison Orb.
DRX
Really
with a
interesting
timeout.
setup. Normally when you open that door
Boy, you just lost
and
one
try to
match.
play the late round lurk, you're going to be hoping that one of them closes it, gives you the info that they're at least there, maybe starts to distract the player watching halls. But instead, these guys were content to play retake, to watch for the push coming up and catch Aspas because they had that orb to block the vision whenever they needed it.
Oh,
They didn't
shit.
have to
My
go and
food.
close the door
My
immediately
food. I'll be
panic
back.
about the extra angles. But then you adapt to that and you say, okay, so the slow play with a late lurk in through halls is not working because they have a good adaptation. Let's just get past that poison orb. Let's just get past defense number 1 and see what the response is. And this time it leads to, well, the first buy round that Loud have been able to take across the line.
No. On the other side of things, maybe if Buzz gets a kill, gets an orb, might be able to do something in this round, but ultimately they're just opting to try and stack up into this A side. 4 players already hit. Already managing to spot out 1, but RB has avoided it. I think they're trying to bait in a swing, knowing that somebody's close. However, DRX very willing to just be patient in this scenario, and they have a screen of their own just to try and make this push through a little bit more awkward.
Toxin screen down.
Couple of sheriffs in play, in particular Mako stood slightly further back on that A site. The headhunter for RB, the fall back to yellow, and he can continue to pick them from there. Who destroys this? It looks like it's going to be RB. Oh, it's not even. He's not going to destroy it. Sticking around, making them spend some utility. I like it. He's now back to yellow. Snake bite to slow them, and this is going to offset Loud's utility.
They know 3 players are here. They have seen Chamber, they saw Jet at the beginning of the round, and then they've just seen a snake bite. So this rotation from Loud is just based off the utility that they've already spotted. And they might have even seen a player in mid as well. So this leaves it very safe to go in towards this B site, knowing there can't be a stack of players.
There's a late round push from Buzz, though. He's already detected these players rotating, but DRX are a little late to the party. Stacks gonna have to hold on a moment before support comes through, and well, as the cavalry arrives, it's only the 1 kill. Minimal resistance being met by Loud as they make their way in. The plant still not coming in. That was the spike that they dropped in a follow-up by Mako. Makes it super costly, but nothing else to be found. And Loud one step closer to equalizing the scoreline. That was, of course, an eco, though, and DRX still made it look a little bit competitive, considering the rotation timing was off as well.
I think the read from Loud was good, though. That was the main thing. It was just using the information that you garnered to pick the weakest spot in these sort of eco rounds. They didn't have to use much in terms of their ults either, although on the other side, Viper's Pit, Hunter's Fury, Bladestorm is not going to be the nicest thing to try and face off against. The thing is, though, for DRX, they've got to be careful, because I think this round slips the other way, game on.
Absolutely. Yep, the lead that they had, as we said, losing both pistols, it was remarkable. But if they don't make this one look a little better, then you start to really get worried. Remember, this is Loud's map pick. You know, we can look at the last game versus Optic, but as you said, you didn't get to see that much of their attacking side, and maybe it would have been strong enough to make us believe. 120 on the clock, DRX not going for the info game. Similar to what we saw from Loud. Passive play, looking for a pick here or there. If
the attempted play around middle, but this up here for Aspis, it almost caught vision. It was so close to finding Mako swinging out on either side, but they are missing each other by milliseconds on some of these peaks.
The thing is as well, they can't really beat any rotations because they just flashed outside of B on the side of DRX and got the info that there was somebody there. So they're not wanting to shift any of their positions just yet. They're also throwing the drone in from the attack side in towards this A site, and actually they have baited out the Hunter's Fury, but it's not going to get anything as they now push B.
He's realized immediately as well, and there's the kill off the back of, oh my god, absolute desolation. There was a smoke down, and they just spray through it. Kill after kill going DRX's way. You saw that 2 bursts of that Hunter's Fury go out, and it gets canceled, and he's thinking, okay, this is a B play. Rotation was in right away, and the guys on site, they held it for longer than they even should have. That spike is down in the open, and it is concretely theirs. There's no safe way to retrieve this. Sassy's picked up the operator, and he is heading for the hills with 5 seconds on the clock. There's no chance they take this round. All they want is to set themselves up for the next.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we are just seeing the utility used from DRX being able to work things out. Because I was looking at A side and thinking, okay, there's definitely some vulnerabilities there, but it was more just because they were so reliant on that Hunter's Fury. They went, okay, that will get us information, do a lot of damage on the way through if they try and push it. And the second they don't spot anything, the orb goes up. And that's the big thing. Now, one of the things I really wanted to mention, so I was speaking to Kanyang, obviously on your screen there, the CEO. He's with Juani, who is also one of the coaches of the current coach, Termi. So we have got a long lineage at the moment of like esports veterans in the DRX camp, and well, I'm sure right now they're having a pretty good time. Although he did say, I saw him with a sign last time saying he was gonna like give them a big bonus. So.
Oh, Mako, he's in a little bit of trouble, but they've gone right past him. They have no idea he's been revealed though. It took a little long, but as he got spotted, that at least allows them to drop him, drop the pit, and get onto the site. Here comes the spray. Buzz not able to land it. Shock darts on their way. Oh, and I don't even know how he's controlled it. I don't know that he meant to kill him, but he's got the frag. Still, numbers won't equalize as Aspis keeps on going. A 3rd kill in this round, and only Buzz left to find. He's hit him to 39, and with 3 players left to drop, Loud seem to have stolen this round away. What a play by Aspis, and Buzz, he is just looking for absolutely anything. No information to work with, and in the end, he's going to be shot in the back by Pancada.
Yeah, like you see that operator in play and you almost expect it to be on Aspis, but instead he is leading the charge, taking that space, a crazy final shot as well, and they actually dealt with what was quite a dangerous position better than I expected. I think with the fact that Marco gets past it, but then just being spotted by the drone, a little bit unlucky in that regard, but this is the superstar level Aspis that we sort of expect to see on this team. 11 to 8.
Been dead.
Luckily, again, just having that Chamber and Jet combo is going to bail out the side of DRX in terms of their finances, but after this round, it'll be a little bit more troublesome.
Well, DRX going straight in for the aggression with RB, but he's spotted, tagged up, and he's got to get out of here. Again, early denial of this aggression has been such a strong feature for both of these sides on the attack. They've denied the pushes down halls. Now, the push that was coming down through the elbow. Hunter's Fury. It's caught Zest for 1, but you won't get the follow-up. Still decent damage done, but the snake bites also stop any further aggression from coming through. You can't take space off the back of it when you still have that utility up against you. But the good thing is it's burnt down now, and so that's a big worry for these players.
I almost wonder if that was being used as a distraction. Just try and get the mid player's attention to allow Les to take a little bit of extra ground, because in that whole fight, he was just moving his way forward. Or even just try to bait some rotations, but nobody moving. Marco is going to throw down another snake bite, which again will buy a little bit of extra time. But the next time out, there's not going to be much to stop them.
Yeah, the drone at least has already been expanded. Now they have an idea of where Buzz is, and the nades let him down. He's 30-24. Shots ringing out. He's still alive, but he won't get anything done past damage. Aspis, this is not a conventional spot to run the operator in. Maybe the element of surprise can come through, but no. RB is the one instead to pick up that kill. Still more Loud players alive than DRX. And look at the position of Les. That is nasty.
The other two are saving. They're almost just saying, okay, tour de force, you don't have a weapon. Just try and do some damage in this round. Try and make things as costly as possible. And well, he'll get nothing more. That lurk again has just been causing issues, being able to take that space late in the round, almost as a separate member of this squad. And now he's trying to remove the remaining weapons. He's been spotted by Zest. You can see that Stax is somewhat torn between two spots, and Zest actually goes and peeks him. Not the man you want to be fighting on Loud at the moment. Sat right at the top of that board. And well, mentioned the finances. Now DRX are going to be in a little bit of trouble. Stax should at least have a rifle. No, Nets is going to clear him out in the last second of the round. And now all they can really commit to this is going to be the Blade Storm.
A timeout called by DRX. So little to work with and so many gaps in play right there. Definitely the right time to go back to the drawing board at 11-9. That lead that was looking so strong. Coming into this half, 9-3 up, and they've only gotten 2 since then. With Loud now hot on their heels, I mean, this round's probably conceded a little bit. Maybe they can get something to work, but realistically, it's probably 11-10.
Yeah, I really want to see DRX try and challenge into mid and tube. I think that's been one of the main problems for them, is the fact that because mid seems to be almost just less is domain, they can't really play retake. There's nowhere for the players to fall back to just in case he's taking that deep control. And then the tube, you've just seen the amount of rounds where there was a round with Aspas and Sadak where they flash out. The last round where the opening kill comes from Aspas just being able to open and just get a free kill. Like, these are all positions that DRX just can't allow this man to have for free. And sure, when he's got an operator, it's a little bit risky to challenge that directly, but I think it's something they have to try and do over the next couple of rounds, because there are so many just pincer plays onto that A site that they just can't deal with.
Les still stealing that top spot on the scoreboard. He has had such a good tournament. And especially when you consider last half, he was just on the B site that they lost every single time and trying desperately to hold on against a barrage of DRX utility. And you see the difference as well for DRX when they're not able to pressure you like that. They can't quite put Loud on the back foot, at least so far on this defensive half. They have struggled to. And a read here that just is not correct. DRX going for a gamble towards A. 3 players there, 1 in the halls. And instead, it looks like it's going to be Stax that's left to do it all with a Sheriff in hand, no shields, no flashes.
Yeah. It's all about timing, and that's the thing. They're moving quickly enough that I don't think DRX are going to be anywhere near this site. The hope would be that they could have run around behind and found something, but no, basically you're reliant on Stax killing everyone.
So the orb is still down on the B site, so it's at least going to slow them on the way through, maybe decay them a little bit, but, well, Les has just put himself above 20 kills. He's on 21 now. And this spot is being watched. Oh, the timing could not have been worse. Good trade at least, but it does little to bridge the gap in this round. 2 versus 4. Now Plant, it went down so long ago.
Last player standing.
Oh my God, just tearing them apart. I felt like he's been doing more on this attacking side. After DRX did so well to decimate his setups, this round he just played pure entry fragger. And while RB, he's going to have a buy in the next round anyway, so might as well try and get something, but nothing for it. I also want to lean back to what you mentioned about Les and his performance in this tournament so far, because he's been one of the players that has really shifted away from just playing Chamber. And you look at some of the best maps they have. Okay, this one was what we saw prior in the tournament. He's moved back over to Cypher, an agent that is quite far out of the agent pool on a lot of maps. He's also gone back to Killjoy on Ascent, and that is their best map. So a lot of the things that they're almost surrounding a lot of their plays around is this man as an anchor on a site, and he has been superb.
So here for Sadik, 5-1 so far this half in first kills to first deaths. I mean, that is impressive. Just using those flashes perfectly to get through some of this utility for early engagements between him and Aspas. They've been doing a fantastic job. Buzz now looks to upset that statistic with Sadik being the man challenged right away. The dash already activated. I mean, he's got that get out of jail free card, but he just doesn't seem worried. He's still sticking around. I mean, he's got the cover of RB, so putting a lot of stock in his teammates.
It was just the health. I was like even if you do manage to dash, normally you take a couple of bullets worth of damage. Again, though, this tube spot has just caused them so many issues. They're going to get the information. The Aspas is here, but I'm going to be honest, I think you probably could have worked that out anyway.
Yeah, some simple deduction of the previous rounds. A quick TP back. They even see where RB's gone to, and they know Buzz has been playing around here as well. There's the flashes from Sadik. No reward this time, a nade to go through. That's a deep nade for Stairs, and it might give Aspas the angle. They're trying to push players out of position with their utility. Oh, that's a whiff! Okay. Aspas leaving the 62 HP Buzz alive, and he's lost his life for that attempt. DRX with a man advantage, but they have to play into the pit.
Yeah, and they've also actually put trips inside it as well. Such a nasty setup. Sadak actually goes swinging though. I don't know if there was a pop flash off the back of that, but it didn't catch anyone if there was. Utility being expended just to try and slow this down as much as possible. Everybody going to be desperately low as they try and push through, and Pancada is just killing them off. He knows the lineup, he knows where the spike is, and they need to get rid of him, and they just can't. A solid afterplant from Loud. From such a desperate scenario, we now sit 11-11.
DRX looked like they had this one in the bag, but now the pressure is truly on. An equalized scoreline for the Korean side is just devastating, and they need to make up for it coming into the next two.
Mitch, map 1 versus FPX, 1917.
Yeah.
Map 1 versus, in the previous series before that, 1816. Map 1 in the previous series before that, 1614. DRX and map 1s have been quite long.
I remember speaking to Stacks about that in the interview. I was like, man, what is it that just keeps bringing you to these long games? Like, how do you have the stamina for that? And he doesn't really know. I don't think any of us do. I don't know why it has to happen, but DRX, they need that little time to wake up in second halves. Look, 11-11 is not the end of the world, but momentum's in Loud's favor. As I said, this is their map, their comfort level high. The same for DRX, but now that we're coming to the penultimate round of this half of Indeed regulation, DRX have only got Sheriff's, Headhunter on RB, a Marshall for Zest. They haven't had a lot of success in this round. That said, this is the exact same buy where Loud found their only round outside of the first two on their defense.
Again, they're setting up into this A site. Now there is pressure down mid this time, trying to watch, but the timing just hasn't gone their way. It's just an anomaly. Buzz though, within this corner, it's a nasty surprise hiding behind the screen, and Marco, while he's causing a distraction, manages to get one. Even still though, just like DRX, things start to stabilize. But again, it's left onto Stacks, the rotator, the B defender, looking to try and battle and brawl, and unfortunately, the Sheriff this time is unkind. Loud, 12-11, from a huge deficit, look to take their map choice after 5 rounds in a row.
Well, there's a new Sheriff in town here on Breeze. Loud came in looking like they were down and out in this half. Faith was at an all-time low in the Brazilian side, but now just look at that score line. Not only are they in the lead, but they are on map point here, and you can see DRX are not happy with that. We said this is a game, a tournament for DRX. Hell, this whole year has been about trying to break the mold, stopping around this point in the last 2 tournaments, losing to Optic again and again, and now another green wall awaits them. The attacking side needs one more, but the rifles are out for DRX, and an aggressive push from Buzz. He hasn't had the success here. Damage is all they've netted, and this time, nothing.
One of the factors that has worked well for them in the series so far is the fact that they've managed to win in these overtime scenarios. The fact that they haven't had that tough loss yet. It's been 2-0s all the way through. The build-up, though, heads in towards this site once again. And Sadak, once more, is going to cause them issues around this door.
They're going in.
Look at Les.
They're making their way, and Les has the lurk, and the rest of the players, in particular, Aspas, already through. They'll drop Sassy, but he's trying to wrap on the back of the pyramids. No one spotted him. That's massive. Only one, though. The trade comes in quickly. DRX attempting to hold on. They don't want to be beaten down out of this map, and it looks like they might have it, but Les coming up behind for the one. A little bit of disruption, a reveal to come through, the information there, but the spike is on the floor. They have 30 seconds to regain control of this site, and it's the man of RB, the operator, in, and he's gone! What a shot from Sadak! That could be the kill they needed. The plant to come through, and the late push through cave will not find them. They've got a post plant.
That's the thing, they had to trip. It had to be broken by Stacks. He was hoping that he could lurk through from behind, but the fact is, Les never really dies early. And he's waiting on watching
really good
for
post
Zest to
plant
try and come through. This battle is going to be everything. 2 1v1s almost being taken. Les is going to put one down. It's down to Stacks again. He tries to bait the swing, but it's all over. Loud.
Oh, no shot. What a comeback, man.
They don't even need overtime. They'll do it in regulation.
We heard it from Benkai on the desk that he believed after all of these events,
After all the whiffs, the chokes late into tournaments, the curse would be broken. The narrative would be rewritten this time because surely DRX had learned to deal with the pressure, but this time, Tom, it's the green team coming ahead again. This is devastating.
So Benkai,
They lost their
you can correct me if I'm wrong. This second ever desk, yeah? Second ever desk, and Mitch has just thrown you under the bus. Straight under it already. He's like, yeah, Benkai said this, and then, well, look what happened. No, the pressure being on them now, and this is the thing, and I'm sure it's something the desk will definitely cover. They've had all of these long maps, this first map versus FPX 100 Thieves and Furia, and every single time they've won. You get that relief, even if you were ahead, behind, no matter what, you get the relief, you go into the second map, and that's where they've looked strong. Not 10 rounds in the second map every single time. Now they're on the back foot. Now they're on the other side, as Loud have managed to turn this into a victory from what looked like imminent defeat, as you mentioned. They didn't win a single buy round in the first half of this game. They go into the side that normally is weaker for them, and they barely lose a round.
This is why I like DRX. Their matches are always interesting.
Even one of those pistols going the other way,
Yeah,
this game's
it's
already
done.
over. There were so many small things, and that final round gotta be the straw that breaks the camel's back mentally. Resetting
have
from
to
this,
be
we talk about close
very
losses as being one of the
destroyed, man.
hardest things to deal with as a team, and normally we mean that in the sense of a team is ahead, you start to make a comeback and then fall short. You're like, we just started a little earlier, but having it within your grasp and then it slips through, that has got to be devastating. I mean, we're going to give these guys a break to reset. That's one of the biggest challenges DRX are going to have to date. Let's toss it off to a break. When we come back, we'll hear from our analyst desk about map 2. It is DRX's pick.
Yeah, that's true. Do they have the stones?
Fucking ad break. What's the next map?
Red Bull Campus Clutch is back. Assemble your team and lead it to the World Final. Register now for your national qualifier.
Should we do it? I need 4 more though. Maybe we could be the greatest team in the world. Who knows? What is my guy, my love XQC doing? He's playing Roblox? Bro, copyright song, bro. Man's playing Roblox. Has to be playing with Dizzy, right?
Like,
Yeah.
you're my biggest fan.
Bro, what? Man, what is this guy, man? He's hiding and shooting this fucking sound with his fucking ski mask on or whatever the fuck you call that. So annoying, man.
Balaclava?
Pussy.
Balaclava?
The fuck are you? Nah, motorcycle helmet.
They are so funny, bro. Anyways, Loud really did make a comeback. Yeah. Exit versus Optic would be so interesting.
Well, for DRX, that certainly took a turn for the worse as Loud get the win, 13-11. No OT necessary as the Brazilian squad closes it out. Of course, I'm Golden Boy alongside Mimi, Achilleos, and we're joined by PRX's very own Benkai here. And, Benkai, you had some great point of views regarding how DRX were going to approach their attacking half. And it all came to fruition. But where do you think things went wrong when we flip sides? Because it felt like the DRX plan kind of went to pieces.
Yeah, so first off, Loud had an amazing attacking side. and they had really good A splits in the late game where they went through halls, and DRX didn't really have an answer for those kind of plays. And DRX, what I felt as an in-game leader was that they weren't proactive enough with their pushing and their flanks. Like on my team, I have a heavy emphasis on if you see a team like Loud play after plant situations, always from the back, you know, Viper mollies and all that stuff, you have to flank them.
Yeah.
And not once did DRX flank them, and the Cypher trips were never broken. That Cypher trip at A main was there for pretty much the entire half.
Damn.
And that's what I thought DRX could really do better in terms of how they could make their defending side.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, right? You want to try and punish, you know, on the flank there, especially with the setups, Mimi, that we were seeing from Loud. But now, you know, DRX find themselves in a situation where they could have realistically won this game. They were in the driver's seat the whole time, and it seems like they just, I don't know, had a flat tire.
Yeah, it really does. This was a game that came down to how well can the defenders hold the site? And for both these teams, they really struggled with it. First half, DRX is pounding B over and over again. It was the opposite story for Loud, but it was pretty much the same outcome. There was round after round where Loud just had these really well put together executes and were able to take the site and win out those posts with the issues from DRX that you were saying, Benkai. But I think there was a few of these rounds where it was just A over and over again. And then there was this one, round 20, that was an absolute tipping point because Les came out on this absolutely massive lurk and killed all three of the players
bro,
that were trying
up?
to save. He absolutely crippled
How you
DRX's
doing? Can
economy.
you hear me?
And it wasn't just this round. It was a consistent performance from Les in the second half. He was utterly shut down on the defense, but on the attack, this guy stepped up big time.
What a
he,
match,
I mean, he
though.
was just tearing them apart the entire time.
Yeah,
But one of the
bro.
other things crucially here that we typically don't see from DRX is that they drop both of the pistol rounds. They have been very consistent about picking those up. This is looking a lot more like old school Vision Strikers where they could never win pistol rounds, but the difference is they actually won all the maps. They didn't win the map this time around.
But
So
it
I
was
need to
Loud's
see them
map, to be
going
fair.
into Haven, being able to win those initial rounds because
They
it's
still
such a big
did.
boom.
I think
Yeah,
they
I
should
think
have
the
been
main
pretty
difference for me was
happy.
on both
But
of
of course, they
defending
cannot
side
be
was,
happy. They
even
just
though
lost
they didn't get
9-3.
that many points, the only
But-
difference was with Loud, they had Pankada always going on the flank and,
Yeah, their
and
motivation
like
is destroyed,
disrupting
there's
the
no
after
doubt.
plan and causing
Fuck.
that chaos, so that the other side that's retaking, has a lot of space to push them back.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this game, particularly in that first half, was defined by these two controller players. Pankada has had a consistently fantastic tournament.
39
This map, he showed
headshot.
up both in that first half and in the second when they were playing on that attack as well. But Mako, too, Seth, was having a great game for himself.
I mean, he was looking fantastic.
What
on
is
that
the
attack.
next
But
map,
once
though,
we swap
that-
sides, I mentioned it during the halftime show.
Is
Like,
it
this
SM?
guy, what a great side.
DRX are
maker. He
really
can
good
just
on
hold
SM.
things down and really just stave off the waves of the attackers coming through. But we didn't quite get to see that whatsoever from him and from everybody else. It just seems like once they shifted sides and once they dropped that other pistol round, they couldn't quite start getting things strung together. It just started to fall apart.
You simply just cannot allow Loud to get back into the game. Because if they have that opening, if they have that opportunity, they will go for it. They have players. I think Tom had a really great point on the desk, or when on the cast, excuse me, where he was saying that, you know, every player on Loud performs. Every player on Loud contributes equally to this team. And on the opposite side for DRX, you know, you kind of get the vibe that it's like if certain players get shut down, maybe the whole system starts to fall apart. But actually,
DRX
that
and
brings us to our Verizon
I
high-speed
can't
moment of the
actually
match
remember.
because we selected Auspus from Loud, and this just goes to show Mimi, it's like any player at any point in time can just have this pop-off potential, and that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, Auspus had some really great moments in the second
But
half.
what
I
was
think
this?
him and Les in particular, with the rally that they made, was a huge part of making that comeback happen.
Heartbreaker, without a doubt, for DRX, but now we have to look forward here, right? And
It's
you know,
gonna be
I think before we head
so
into
hard
our second map of this one, and
for
let's take that
DRX.
time to do this. Let's do an aim lab
2v
shoot around with
game.
RB. Talk about DRX, and what they're going to do is RB starts popping some bubbles here because we are going to be going to Haven.
RB played well, so
for
I'm
map 2.
happy.
And Seth, I mean, we said it before, but I think we were
holy
saying it
shit,
before
was
the
the
cast,
same.
like, there's a strong potential DRX closes this out in 2-0, but this is not doom and gloom for DRX because of what we have coming up next.
No, not at all. My opinion was that it
That
was
is
a necessary
crazy.
win for Loud if they want to stay in this series, because if they dropped on Breeze and DRX picked that one up, it very likely is going to be a 2-0 victory. Obviously, Loud, though, with that rally back, you can't
Nah,
discount
bro.
them basically in
How-
any situation whatsoever. They are a top
I
tier
can't even
team,
see this
but
fast.
Haven is just... I mean, it's
And
exactly that.
Lenovo
Same thing.
monitor is really good.
DRX, it is
They're
such
using
a
it for
known
pro
map.
Should we run the graphic? I don't know.
Maybe another time. Maybe another time.
No time for the segment, I don't think.
No funny business left in this one because it is serious for DRX here. I wanted to ask you, Benkai, when you're in this position where you have like a clear lead, you feel like you're going to win a map, it slips away from you, but you're still in the series. What does it take to kind of come back and be able to find a good performance through the rest of the series?
A lot of it comes down to the coach, really. That's my opinion. Because sometimes you need someone outside of the team to see what's going on and just to really calm everybody down. And sometimes the IGL just isn't able to do that, especially if he's not having a good game.
Have to download
and if he's
laptop.
as emotional as Stax portrays himself
I got your
to
message
be,
on the
then
phone though.
if he starts getting shut down, I can see DRX just
kind of falling apart. Yeah, falling apart at the seams. That is a very, very astute point there. But if you're just joining us, by the way, and you maybe tuned into Map 1, you're like, DRX got this in the bag. Did not happen as Loud win 13-11. Critical rounds flipping over to Loud that DRX certainly were not expecting. And we take the game over to Haven, Mimi, and DRX. We know that this is a great map for them. We know that they have something potentially, or not that we know, but we hope that they have something potentially up their sleeves here at Icebox, but they kind of leave themselves in a very precarious position.
They really do. I thought that Breeze was going to be a solid one for them, but Loud obviously come out, do make that comeback happen. Now on Haven, I know, Seth, you were leaning pretty heavily towards DRX here. I might disagree, because what I saw from Loud in their game versus Leviathan, I was really impressed with the way that they were playing that kind of double initiator comp with Auspice on the race. I mean, that game was dominant on one of the best maps for Leviathan.
Oh no, for sure. I don't mean to discredit them whatsoever. I mean, obviously we've seen each of these teams play it once a piece, and it has been very dominant in both of those games. It was the 13-4 over Furia for DRX, and as you said, the 13-6 over Lev. So both teams are just incredibly good at every single map that's in this pool for the most part. So Haven is not going to be by any means easy, but let's see what happens.
All right, Prime Gaming Agent Select. Benkai, I want you to start here. Tell us what you think we're going to end up seeing for both teams.
Right now, it kind of looks like DRX is going for their El Clasico lineup. That's the one, yes. You always see them run this one. This is their most counter composition. You see them running this like slow default, make a call at 1 minute, going with the breach and just play the upper plant, park him under heaven. And you see Loud going for like a more up-to-date composition, I would say, with the chamber.
How do I join though?
Yeah, and there's going to be quite a bit of pressure on Les to get the opening picks and to disrupt DRX from coming and executing into those bomb sites.
Yeah, Les, I think the pressure is very much with him, but the player I look at in this composition is Pencata playing on this Omen. I think it's a very comfortable role for him, and I think he does a great job almost being a third initiator at times, helping to set up Auspice for success on that race.
I mean, we look at Pencata playing his Omen on many different maps, particularly the Ascent performances that he's been able to put up, and oftentimes he is top fragging, much like we were seeing in that initial starting half on Breeze. But like,
so how do I join you?
This is kind of like bread and butter. Obviously, some new changes, some new faces, given that Fade is now in the meta, so Zest has picked that one up. But typically, you'd see something very similar to this from DRX in the past, and you just put the Sova in there instead of the
Holy
Fade.
shit, I have a lot of
This
messages.
is a game about
Are these
Sentinels.
messages?
It's going to be Les, who had a fantastic map, one RB, who also performed, but now he's on the Killjoy. Traditionally, that's been a little bit more comfortable for him.
All right, Benkai, before we send it over, I want to get a little cheeky prediction from you. What do you think we're getting? Do you go map 3?
Just based off the
we're going map 3.
I think if Loud plays their defending side well and they don't let DRX execute into the bomb side, I can see Loud taking this one.
Oh, all right. Well, this is a guy that was a staunch supporter of DRX, but he thinks there's a path to victory for Loud. Let's send it over to Mitch and Tom, and hopefully they don't throw Benkai under the desk again.
Hey, listen, I didn't mean to cause anything here, Benkai. I love you, bro. At the end of the day, he was right about one thing. DRX's comp. I'm sure he was right about more than that. I'm sorry, that came off like a diss as well. I love you, Benkai. Realistically, their comp was fantastic for the attack. You could see the control they had. You could see that they were ready for Loud.
The stadium is so empty.
On board in that previous map in the first half. Now we bounce into Haven, and the question is, can they reset?
At least he doesn't flip-flop as much as GB. Like that's at least something. Like that man is maybe as much on the fence as Van Silly. But either way, we are going to be getting into Haven. I think this is going to be a fun map because it is a slight difference in styles. So you've got DRX who are very good at their afterplant. So you're going to have RB with his nice little lineups to try and almost just cause problems with the utility. On the other side of things, I expect this defensive side from Loud to be quite aggressive. You're going to have Aspas with utility combining with Sassy, and then you're also going to have Les just basically trying to push the boundaries of the map and really get in on those early fights.
Well, Tom, it looks like barriers are about to go up, and the attack side of DRX put to the test. Got RB separated out from the team, watching any push coming in through doors. He'll set up his turret, move around, and become the normal chamber trap that you see, watching for the push in through the window, just taking that control. The rest of the team wants to pressure A, but Loud have a very similar idea. The Paranoia is ready, a stun in hand as well. This could be dangerous. Paranoia on its way, and only connects on one though. The rest of the team swinging. The kills don't go their way to start, but they recover nicely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that actually went a lot better than expected. Sassy though. The timing could be wonderful. Not expecting a fourth player to be here so soon, and now it's all up to Buzz. He's being pincered from behind as well. He has to be very careful of that. Is wary that that flank could be coming through, but look at them teaming up together. Loud not wanting to give him a 1v1. Yeah, it's just perfect play. There's really very minimal openings for Buzz to come in here. 100 HP on both players. He's got to be connecting the headshots on the way around this corner.
Was that right?
Trades will be quick. Already the hump back online for Sassy. And in a moment, that's going to be thrown out. There you go, clearing off long. And now they know exactly where he's coming from. At least for the next couple seconds, they'll have their sights set on short. There's the swing, and it's closed out by Sassy with a phenomenal peek back through on short, dropping the spike. And the final player, Loud, have gone 3 for 3 in pistols.
What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up? Oh, shit.
I think we're going to see a lot more stuff like
dope.
that. The fact is
I
they
don't usually use Discord.
that fade either, which is the normal way you're going to be pressuring over onto that A site. So clearly showing that there's
So you think it goes to third
now,
map?
there's no
no
surprise for me that the Haven stats for
I
DRX
think
are very
so,
good.
no,
This has been a map
actually.
that I think they've been consistently
Loud
one
is
of the best
pretty
in the world for
unpredictable.
probably over a year and a half. Like, it is absurd how good they are at sort of creating on this map, and I think that's why
The
we
way
still
they
have this
play,
well,
see the pistol round, the
setup for
stacking,
them on the
like who stacks it.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm against in any way. Oh my! Buzz has got some good ideas to dash in the shorty, Sadik under pressure,
The problem with
but picking up
DRX
every
is,
single kill. Walked away
like,
with 4, the
unlike,
ace possible!
For Paper X, they are pretty orthodox, and if they plan something and it fails, their mid-round calling is very bad.
You know, I need
Okay.
my one orb.
Makes
Once it fails, it's gone. The entire round is gone, and next round it's again starts with a plan. If they,
in-game is like mostly IGL, right?
yeah, the mid-round calling part is, I don't know, it's not that
They are
strong.
not close to having any of those ults online, but as we saw in the
Makes
last map,
sense.
they are pretty good in buy rounds.
Well, that is the truth.
Yeah, I think
Buy round
I
coming
did
up right here
after
now.
like
The
you have said
disruption
I
play was to try to
do
seize
it makes
nade in the
sense.
mid.
So many times they try to do something, it doesn't work, it never works after that.
They've got a turret down. I
Yes.
believe that's inside the smoke on A. So no, not even a chance for a player to sneak in and get a little bit closer. But ultimately, when you look at this early round,
Like they have so many ideas, but it's only ideas. Like once it fails,
No execution.
there is no backup. There is no backup. No, they have executions. Like if it fails for some reason, like if opponent resets, it stops there. There is no second idea after that.
Yeah, you know,
Like in
this
case of Optic, you have seen that. Like,
exactly I was saying. It happened to Optic so many times. Yeah.
but they immediately, like after 3 rounds, 4 rounds, they adapt. They adapt so quickly.
But already, they managed to
Yeah,
That's
now
the reason
remember
they
the
are the
counter
like
utility
so
coming
good.
out though, and actually the aftershock is going to
Like
delay,
any
but
team, you
not
give them
stop.
any team, they will adapt
off
to
the
it.
back of the flash. Aspas
I guess the only team they were not able to adapt was PRX.
Yeah, it's impossible.
His teammates pushing down on A long though.
No,
so
it's
far
possible.
away. This
Like
is gonna probably be a reset on
they
timing,
they
just to allow
never
that
faced
little
them
bit of
like that.
extra
No.
positioning for Loud.
After 1 or 2 times,
Done well
they
to-
like
to
they may try to
trade
win,
out
but
the numbers like that.
immediately it's
But that
very
HP
difficult
taken
for
off
them.
of Aspas, though.
Also,
Yeah, and
but now
Paper
they
X
can win
hardly
again.
uses
Far away
gunfights.
from doing some damage.
Everyone
Feel like
on their
there's
team
a
can aim really
possibility
good.
They're just trying to lock them in at this point. Less waiting for some sort of distraction to be made, and Buzz
I don't know
wants to
why
try and
they
fight around
like
the
lost
smoke,
against Team
repositioning
Liquid
to join up with his teammates, and he just isn't missing a beat.
because
Finally, he's put down
they
by
could have
Sassy,
won.
but that
Yeah, they
flank is
seriously
watched
could
from
have won.
Marco, and it leaves just Sassy alone.
That day Jing was not able to.
Yeah, even Forsaken was not on point
Still have
that
the
day.
purchase, of course, coming into the next round.
Unlucky.
But
Or else
DRX, after what was a little bit of a
very
shaky
easy for
start,
them. I know.
looked pretty good.
Team
Yeah, that
Liquid is
definitely could have gone a
nothing.
lot worse.
They
They
don't
only lose
even.
the two
We
players
saw that
out of
yesterday.
round, but again, the benefit
It was
of
so
these
bad, bro.
early
They-
economic rounds, winning
You
the
could
pistol
see
first
that
of
day,
all,
like Pepper
and
X
the way they
was
follow
that
that
was a
up over
bad
on
day for
Cloud,
Pepper X.
giving
Yeah.
themselves
Literally
these
bad day.
rifles to still duel with, making sure that they're
Like
going for
any
those
other
trades.
day,
Like
they would
Zanuck
have
had the
defeated
rifle, he
Team
goes
Liquid
down,
easily.
straight away Aspas
True.
is on the swing, ready to take that kill. Making value of those Spectres off the trades alone. So 2-1 as we rock into this round. You can
I
see
hope
there's a couple
DRX
players
wins
low
this.
on credits
Yeah,
for
same,
DRX. So
bro.
a really good opportunity for Loud to walk away with this early half.
Actually, I wouldn't even mind.
Same for
But I think DRX wins and Loud does a lower bracket run up and they play another final.
We've seen the same.
Loud is, I don't
aggressive
know.
push
There's so much,
towards
the,
short.
like
Now, they
the,
haven't actually used
the
a lot of
this
the
competition
combo
is so stacked till
utility
now.
just yet.
Yeah.
The nade
There is this Xset
still
is
online.
playing insane.
With this peak spotting
Yeah,
absolutely.
Optic is
Xset
already
is.
there.
Start gambling rotation back away from this side
I
of
don't
the
know
map.
about Fnatic.
So in the
Like if
previous round, I
their
said it was the
Alfire
turret, but I
and
realized it was
K
the alarm
plays,
bot that's been outside of
it's
A. They've had
GG
to
for
pull
the
that
other
back.
team.
I'm not sure that Loud were close
Like
enough to mirror
seriously,
it,
if
though.
those
They've
two
still got
players
two
play
players
na,
in position
Yeah,
on
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
GG
side.
for the
So
other
this
team.
push is
Like
Fnatic,
if
but
they don't
held off
track,
by the other three.
they make really
Immediately
silly
they've
mistakes.
lost last and conceded the
yeah,
control.
like
They're going to have
I
to play
don't
for the
know.
post plants on this.
It's
They have got a
less
rolling thunder to
less
work
than
with, and that's going to be
FPX
the point man
Angels.
of the round. But look,
Like
Yeah,
too
sometimes
close
that
was Buzz. They've taken him down
sometimes he
anyways.
does those
I don't
things
know
and
if
you'll
they
be
saw
like,
him through the
what?
smoke, but no plan for DRX, no control, and now a man disadvantage.
If
They've even lost
you
Cess on the way
saw
back. They're
that match,
completely trapped, and the
I
nade is
don't
hunting them
remember.
down.
He was giving spike to
They're
someone
now
in
stuck in the
Ascent
mud.
high
They
mid,
either need to push
and he
it
was
Oh
or
out.
yeah,
they're
yeah,
gonna
he
have
got
a
sniped.
teammate looking to
I
support
was
him
like,
in the
what?
front line card.
Why
yeah,
would
If
you
they
do that?
get that
exactly.
kill,
I was
they're
the
still
same, like,
locked in.
what?
They've
Why?
only got 20 seconds to play with, so they have to
But
drop
immediately
straight
that
towards this B
Japan
site.
got a
I
4K
almost
and they
wonder
won
if
for
Word
40
saved the
versus
gun
5.
instead. They are going to look for
I was
that
like,
fight.
okay,
Marco
this is
Ball,
also
he
okay.
gets a single kill before eventually going down. Really
That's
solid
the
stuff
point
out
now.
from
They have
Loud, because the
very
fact is,
cracked in.
the
That
initial battle in that round didn't go to plan.
Zipan
The idea is
and
less maybe get the
Suigetsu
kill, get out,
and
but instead,
Chao.
he goes down. He even had the
Chao
rendezvous
to
allowing
clutches
him
a
to go
lot.
out of the site, and then they were going to play retake. It didn't work out, and they still managed to get into that site quickly enough
Loud
and
is
stop them from getting the plant.
killing it.
And really, you look at Buzz. He got past
You
the
see
rolling
that those
thunder. He was
reveals,
up close, ready
they're
for
not
the
Yeah.
able to break it
Almost
also.
feels like maybe he was a little
Actually,
too
you know,
close.
this is the
The barrel
problem,
could have
like
been moving through the smoke, or it was
with
blind fire, but either
Fade.
way,
It's the
Like,
only spot
it's
you
not
miss,
that
they
much in
would've
meta,
spammed
right?
it anyway.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not
yeah,
been
I
a
think
long
it's
while.
hard to even detect
So there are
because one
still
step
lineups
back
which
and-
other team
oh,
don't know.
that's a missed shot.
That's the
An
reason
opportunity
Sova
for
is not being
DRX as they
played.
close in
Because
the
Sova
distance, but
Recon
Loud doesn't miss a second
hardly
time.
There's a new
reveals
lineup.
anyone
Problem
any.
is that's the blade stop gone.
They are
That's the
pre-aiming
one
it.
real danger in this
Like, oh,
game.
Every
he-
time you play,
He will come here.
every time.
Now, they do have the Nightfall, but I think unless they get a kill
Like
or two, it's
in
probably not
pro,
gonna be something they want to try and
80
use
to
unless
85% of the
you
time,
can see what
Sova's
happens, but he
Recon is
does
destroyed.
survive, even
85% time. It's
baiting
not
for
usable at all.
Backhand. As now it's left all onto Stacks. 1 versus 5, clearing him out is going to be an impossibility. He manages to get 2 kills, a nice couple of shots,
Trying
but
to
that
do
will be all.
something there already.
Loud.
But they are not
Fourth
watching
round on the
backstab
board
at
on this
all.
defensive side, and
It's the
okay,
second
now
time
there's
they're
gonna be a
losing
buy
because of
coming up,
flank.
but
I mean, of course
whether
they
or
were
not
on Thrifty,
DRX
but
can break back.
there's no flank
This
watch.
is starting to become a commanding position from Loud. The fact that they are as far ahead as they are, and then the context of some of these rounds of the previous map in particular, losing out on that, the mentality of DRX is under a lot of strain. And, well, they'll be able to keep themselves happy and smiling, but if they lose this round, it becomes a much more dire situation, especially if they lose
have
it in such
3
a convincing
ultimates
way,
though.
right? They're coming in with their Nightfall, they're coming in with
They
a
need to
rolling
take at
thunder as well,
least
but Aspas had a fantastic
7 rounds
game.
in
They're
attack.
gonna going to seasonate.
Nice, because
They're going to seasonate straight away. They
like
haven't done it on
Cloud's
this side
attack
of the
is
map
very
just
good.
yet, so they might even expect this to be for free.
The defense
It
is
is going to be
very good.
instantly bypassed, but they are going to know that there's a player close, and Showstopper will get them what they wanted anyway.
Smoker down. A lot of control for DRX now that they can't afford to contest. I mean, the closest thing they have is, well, it's going to be that cloud burst coming out of Buzz. Not a great thing to be filling the gaps up with. No possibility of a res. Again, still having the Nightmare as well as the Rolling Thunder.
They're taking it slow now.
The thing is, it's a really
It
powerful
seems
ult
as if
combination on
Cloud
their
has
side,
already
but that's why you
reading
see the
DRX.
challenge
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Like, they wanted to deny that early
They're
space, even
entirely
using the
reading it.
Showstopper just to make sure they garner an extra kill. And now you almost have to wonder,
do you want to gamble back into that as DRX, or are you just looking to try and reset and play someone else? And they are going to go in that direction because it's still a very good
The
way to
way
get an
Mako
after one.
died, na,
You can see
I'll
how
guarantee
passive
you,
the defense is
if there
currently.
is
They will
any
walk
other
straight out
team
the site
from
and play retake.
They've been here
NA,
for like 20 seconds now.
they
just
will
playing
never die.
way, way
Somehow
back.
that Omen
This is
will
the thing,
stay
Loud are
alive. He
fully
will
aware.
TP
You
or
look
do
at
something.
DRX, how are they going to get into a site? Well, they're not going to be smoking angles and pushing.
Yeah,
The most
they
likely thing
do.
for them to do
Haven't
is
you
to make
seen
this commitment.
so many
Double
times?
ult
There are
in,
such
take the
such a
space,
number of
so they'll at
utilities.
least
When
get
they
themselves on
the
the site
raise,
without
the
having
Omen, they
that
TP
trade,
out, they
because they're in a
satchel out.
position now, taking out the
They're very
overdraft
good
is
at
interesting.
There's a player up there.
oh
Yeah,
double
that's
ultimate.
the problem. Like, it would have been a
The
nice fake, but
stun
it hasn't
and
done too much.
But look at
Stick that deep control.
what was
He
he
has
doing, man?
bypassed RB.
What
And this
was
fight's
he
going to be
doing?
everything. If he can find this kill, there's a good
Seriously?
chance, but Buzz has just come up with 2. This round looked like such a good position, and instead now RB pins us from behind. The remaining 2 trying to get back in, fighting through. It's into a 2 versus 2. Why is that just 1? What a
What's
swing
going
round
on?
coming back. It's left onto RB. The man who was in the back lines, they know exactly where he is.
What?
Sassy trying to guard him. And somehow, once again, Loud come out on top.
That has got to be such
Seriously?
a horrible position to be in as the
backbreaker.
attackers.
It's a backbreaker.
This is so
4v2
sad.
again.
2v4.
And it's off this drop down from up above. Buzz getting the kill. They
If they
even
can't
catch the
win
flank.
rounds like this,
It
then
seemed
it's
all the danger
Yeah,
men were
that is
gone, but
GG's.
they can't close these rounds out. 2 now in recent memory that they've
I guess
lost.
they
And
need a better
this has got to
team.
be
They'll
exactly
have
like
a
you said.
change
It's a
obviously next
backbreaker.
year.
They're going to be
but,
calling a timeout. That's
after this
DRX's. I don't think
franchising
anyone's
thing
going to be
comes.
surprised to hear.
Yeah, what's this
And I think they're gonna be
franchise?
talking through some meditation
It's like
techniques.
only a few
basically-
teams can apply.
That's the thing. There is a reason
It's not
why
apply.
Sadak and
Like
Sassy
they have already
have been
applied.
on the
Like
top
for
Brazilian team
our APAC
throughout the
region,
entirety
400
of the
teams
VCT.
applied.
There is a reason
Okay, so
why
there are 3
a
regions.
roster was
This
built around them.
NA,
Like, we know for a fact that players like
and it's
Sassy had
America,
offers
not
in
NA.
Europe.
It's
Like, there
comprises
were
of
teams that
NA and
wanted this man,
South
but
America
he stuck around in Brazil
and
is now
EMEA
again
and
on the
APAC.
top team.
So there
in
will
Brazil.
be
Well, I guess you could say
12
the whole
teams
Latin America.
from
The fact is,
Every
you're now
region.
looking
12,
at this
10,
retake
10,
coming
10
through, and
teams,
it was just
not
superb.
12.
The
The
fact that
first
they
year
had
it will
the
be 10
setup,
teams.
one player
So for each
pushing Buzz
region,
out into a
like all the
position
teams
which
apply,
leads it
and
straight
then they
into
have a very
Sadak.
rigorous
It must be
process.
so
Uh,
difficult
after
to play
which
against.
has
Well,
already taken place.
5-1.
So after which
DRX,
they
they've
will
taken that
choose
time out,
only
Mitch, but
10 teams from
honestly,
each
at this
region
point, you've almost just got to go,
for
okay, we need to calm
franchising,
ourselves down.
and
We lost some
those
silly
teams
rounds
will
there.
only play
You've got
this
a
leagues.
short-term memory.
Okay,
It might be kind of
like
hard
this
to think
America
about
leagues
Loud
and
in this
EMEA
light,
league
but
and
the event before last, they were
Asia
grand
league,
finalists.
APAC league.
Then they came in
Now
and they couldn't
APAC
get out of groups
consists
because
of
they
all
had
like
Optic
Korea.
in it.
Already
It was
used to
crew
be
in a
like
regional matchup, and
only
that can be tough for
South,
any team.
South Asia,
Now
Southeast
coming in
Asia, and
and
South
winning.
Asia, right?
Guild as well. That was like
Now
a group
it's
of death. It was a
entire
horrible
Asia.
group. Crew didn't make
Like
it out
Japan
either.
will also be there, Korea
You
will
look at
also be
DRX
there,
right now, and it was very much
That's
feeling
and
like
only
after that first half,
and only 10 teams
that
are
mold
there.
was broken and it was
So
shattered, but
it's,
now it
it's
looks like
pretty difficult
it
now.
could be their mental that's shattered.
But
I wouldn't blame them. A tough
after 10
game
teams,
so far, and it's
there
only
will
getting
be
tougher. This eco round sees
like
absolutely nothing. A
regional
6-1.
leagues. Okay.
I love the setups
So,
from Loud.
so
They are
these 10
changing the way
teams
they
will
every
play
single round. I don't think
internationals.
there's been a single round so
Okay,
far in this half that's
like
been the same.
the
seaside
winners of
setup,
like the
every
4
round
winners
has been
from
less
these will
takes a
go
fight,
to
he
these
TPs
masters
out, they play retake.
from
This
these
time,
3 teams.
less
Okay,
TPs
and
out,
they
Pack
will
Carter
play
is deep.
the
Nobody checks the corner, he gets a
masters
multi-frag. Like,
only.
they
Not
are
everyone
just
will
putting in
play.
little details that you go,
And
okay,
there will
you know
be
we're doing this, you
minor
know we're doing
leagues
this,
like
you know we're doing
regional
this,
leagues
we're not
where
doing
other
this.
teams
And
can
every
participate. Like
single time, it seems like
obviously
DRX are full.
we have so many
Loud are
teams in
playing a
attack. Only 10 will
magnificent
play.
game right now.
So what the others will do?
Again and
So
again,
they
up to
will
lower
have their
brackets.
own
Both of these teams have seen
minor
Optic
leagues, and every
far
year
more times than they
only
want to.
one
The
team
next
from
game
each
up
league will
for the winner
be
here will be
promoted
Exet or
to next year's franchising league. So by like this, after 4 years, they will have total 16 teams in franchising because they already have like this, and the teams will be promoted. Na, they will only get the slot for 2 years.
Oh shit!
And the ones who are like in the base, like now, they are totally permanent until Riot removes them or they remove themselves. Like we don't want to play anymore. So basically this year it will be only 10, 30 teams in total. But moving forward, it will increase every year.
But even still, it's not even going to be close to enough.
He
The rest of his
revealed like
team died
anything.
just seconds before
You
he
see
made
that?
that move.
Oh,
And
why
although the
did it?
distraction
Oh,
garnered
it's
3
GG's,
kills,
man.
it still was fairly
They're getting
comfortable for
revealed,
Loud.
man. They're
Yeah.
not able to
Brazilians
break that
leading
fate
7
point.
to 1. Korea not looking too
Can't
hot
do
right
anything
now.
in
This
pro if you
was
don't break
DRX's
that
map
one.
pick.
They will
Yeah, exactly.
one tap you from
on a
anywhere.
mental level coming in, and I'm not sure they've had a chance to even reach any of that. Loud have dominated. The A plan has been working again and again. They seem to have a lot of A plans.
The game that's being called by Sunak may be one of the best we've ever seen. Like, they have had the read every single round. Like, the fact that they hold the Nightfall just to try
If
and
DRX
basically
loses, they play
dismantle the
Fnatic,
A-take,
right?
it's just
Yep.
fantastic. I don't think
Which
the
is
talent
again
ultimately
gonna be
hasn't had
very
impact,
difficult.
Yeah.
which is just absurd. That doesn't happen very often.
Lower
at all.
bracket run is very difficult.
Once again,
Trust me.
back down to some SMGs, some pistols. Okay, you got lockdown, but it's lockdown.
You may have to play Exet or Optic. You have to
Very
play
minimal
Fnatic.
positions you can use it
and
from, and wherever you do use
I
it
don't
from,
know.
they can probably aftershock it.
Yeah. Maybe on the, I think we've seen on the defensive side just some incredibly passive A1s that have worked out. But
At least the first game was a little exciting. This is so boring again.
50 seconds on the
Getting steamrolled by
clock
Loud.
as DRX make their way out on long. Tucked in. This is a bait setup. And they haven't given it away at all. Still, it will be cleared. Sassy holds on for one, and Aspis with the trade. They've got the spike now. And he falls back to watch this short pinch. He knows Zest is going to want to support his teammates on the way through, even with the flash in play. A Prowler, but 2 players watching him. There was no way he was getting any more than 1. With the spike down on long and 2 players spotted, they know they've got the info to work off of. Still to follow up on the kills and the TP out of corner. Might cause a bit of a problem, but there's only 20 seconds left. So where are they going to go with the spike with such limited time? They're only going one way. And that's straight into the site to their deaths.
wow. Again,
they're getting
8 to 1. We've seen responses from DRX throughout this tournament, but most of the time it's been in that first
Do you have
map.
a
Most of
Steam
the time,
delay
I
or
said,
something?
they haven't had to have a mental reset.
I don't
It's
know.
been in the map itself
Maybe, I
that they've
think.
been able to turn things around. And well, I think they're getting a taste of their own medicine here. They let it slip when it comes
Watch
to
it on
Breeze. They've now
the
come into their choice,
channel.
and it's
That's
not
where-
looking good.
Which
And I
state?
don't want to take away credit from
You
Loud.
know,
I think they are playing an
this
excellent game
thing,
in terms of the reads,
Hong Kong. Have you
ults,
ever played in Hong
individual
Kong server?
brilliance.
No, no.
But at the same time, you
I
expect
I
DRX to
play a
have
lot
more
of
than just
Unrated there. You know, like
For Loud,
every
this is a
player
team that was
using
denied
Stringer there.
playoffs last time.
You
Really?
play any
Grand
match,
finals
they're
before,
playing
and they're
Stringer.
looking to
Only
repeat
Stringer.
First event of the year.
What?
8 to 1 in the lead. A
I don't
dominant
know. We
scoreline for their
in
defense
Mumbai
starting it
server
out,
we
and
are a
whatever you
little
think about
late to the
DRX's
meta,
defensive
but they're
capabilities,
already playing
I think even
Stringers
Seth
and
would find
only
it hard to
Stringers.
find a positive here. The
That's so
silver
good.
line
There was a
pretty dull
Raze and
unless
Jet yesterday I
up
played
again.
with.
He hasn't been
They
getting a ton
played
of kills,
all
but he
the
hasn't
rounds
been
with
dying a
Stringer.
lot
They have
either.
a
This
buy,
time
they
that
don't have a
changes
buy, don't
with
care.
RB overrunning
Only
C.
Stringer.
Yeah,
And
we've
they're
seen
killing
him step
people
up.
with it.
They only
The
have one
Singer
kill
is
up
so
until this
annoying.
point. Nice shots from Zest.
Actually, in
Starting
close
to see a
range, it's
little
a
bit
beast.
of the
Yeah.
DRX
In
we know
long
and
range,
love.
you need
4 players
skills.
survive. A second round onto the board. And that's the
Get
thing,
4
Mitch.
rounds
If
at
they can
least,
string
please.
this back to 4, if they can give themselves a little bit of a lifeline, there is still
This
very
was a
much
better
a
round.
chance
But
of
DRX
resurgence.
got
The thing is,
5
though,
and
this looks
4
far more
ultimates.
like
They
a
need,
blip on the radar, at least for
they
now.
need to
It
win
was
the
a
next
big
round.
round from RB. We've seen some
5
of those
ultimate
solid
actually once they
connections
get
from
down.
Zest, but that is
Yeah,
a round
exactly.
1 off of aim duels going their way, and that has not
Actually,
been
after
the
that
story
A
of this
round
game
where
so
they
far.
used that rolling
A long
thunder
road to
and that
recovery.
nightfall and
Let's
still
talk
lost,
about it. If they can push to 4,
don't have any
great.
expectation.
Pistol under their belt,
Yeah.
they win the first of the series for them? Maybe. But the reality is right now, Loud have everything to work with. They've got their ultis online, Tour de Force is in, Rolling Thunder, and Showstopper. So many safety nets, and sure, DRX have their own, but they haven't been able to do anything with it so far. Static down after 1,
Oh,
and
never
AB with
mind.
another!
4
Back-to-back
people
big
aiming
rounds!
window. What the fuck?
That
How
might
are
just
they-
be what they need.
What stat
Yeah,
is this?
if RB can just get triple kills every single round, I think
Oh my
they'll
God,
be in a
it
pretty good
was.
spot. The aggressive attempt this time didn't work out, and they are playing it so safe.
No breach.
Just put that lockdown into play. Yeah, there's no
Left.
counter for it this time out. And Carter is coming in on that flank, but
Flag.
it's something they have to be watching for. Not many angles.
Can
that
you
he can be
imagine like
really pincer him from behind, although
a
that
match
one's
where
free.
they know that
They
four
do have a little bit of
four
a
people are
crossfire,
stacking
though,
window
that
and you're
I
also
think
4
will be
people
tough
playing
to
window.
break.
Once that alarm bot went
I
down,
can't
the
even
timing was
imagine why
perfect
that
for
this will
Pancata
happen. happened? Why?
He'll be caught
We
after
don't do
just the
this.
one, the element of surprise. All
Doesn't
put him
make
ahead
any
in those
sense.
duels with Les now, the last man standing. He's got 3 shots left in his tour de force, 3 targets to find, and he uses 1, 2, in fact, to break utility. Here's a paranoia, can't break that one.
This is
They know
nice
he's not
usage of
defusing. This
utility.
round's already over.
1 by 1.
8 to 3. As said,
What will
they
we
get
do?
to 4, especially
Yeah.
after the half they've had, especially with how dominant the majority of rounds are, excluding the 2v4.
They have all the ultimates still.
It would give them something to
All
play with
the
at
ultimates.
least.
That was my phase 2.
This is the round to use it now.
Pretty good
Yeah.
spray down.
They've also got a hell of a lot of ults. Rolling Thunder, Nightfall,
They
Blaze.
can counter with
Okay, there's some on the other side
Rolling
as well, and
Thunder,
with how
Sadak.
many set plays there've been for Loud,
And
it looks
Aspas
like they
is
might
very
be
good
setting
with
up for
his
another one.
slow
A
stopper.
trap play
Sadak
on this
is an
A site, where we've seen
is
a lot
an
of early
Indian
pressure
origin,
from DRX
right?
so far.
Yeah,
That's so
Sees
good.
that's
Nate
why he has the
going in,
tattoo that
players
can
were
do.
there, but they
Yeah, I
Cyber
was
or
so
something.
surprised.
TP out of Mako just to bait the sound, so they use up utility. 4 players from Loud towards this A site, and the immediate response from DRX. They have left entirely, fled to C, and that ult is going to catch the information. They know exactly where Les is, and he has to leave. Couldn't even hear the steps as they made it close, so
Can you tell what is Sadok's
was all
age
that it
is?
was about.
Like you think?
They've held the Rolling Thunder.
Oh,
So
he
there's
looks
one on
old.
both sides, but it means that they can almost
27?
counter it, use it to try and stop the defuse.
I
RB
think
again
so. He's
is
24,
going to
I
be
guess.
finding
Oh,
the early
bro,
kill in this
what?
round, and Aspas trying to clear things out with
Oh,
that
he
showstopper.
blinded
The boombot's actually going to do more damage, it seems, as he is running out of fuel. Oh! Marco's managed to survive in this backline. That could be a really nasty surprise. Rounds the corner, not ready for him. And his teammates starting to dwindle, starting to fall. It's left all onto Sassy. And the time
He dodged it.
surely is
He will not check. He
It
dodged.
must be. There's too many players to clear out. Loud have been criminals for 4v2s.
Please don't
for
die.
clutches,
Please don't die.
But with another 3K round from RB, it seems we found the formula. Just let this man kill them all. And the best part is, he had
8-4.
what, three
I mean, if
Actually,
you
Loud
can-
is a Loud is a very defensive team. They don't have this
Let's toss
good
it off to
attack,
the desk
so
and see if the momentum
they
can
can
carry
try.
DRX
Yeah,
through.
if Loud can do it, DRX can too.
If you see Louds and Optics matches, they're so boring. Both are very defensive oriented. They will play default for so long, slowly.
win at the very least where we were at the first half.
Yeah,
Like
so
most of the EMEA is like
I would
that.
say Loud started
I
really
watched
strong.
this regional
Yeah,
like
DRX
you
had
think na,
pretty
like
good,
the
side executes, but the problem
qualifiers
with that
for
is that
EMEA
a lot
and
of
then
it set
I'd never
plays,
watch EMEA.
which doesn't really have a
They
lot of
have
room for
the
creativity in
most
terms of
general
on-the-fly
play.
calls,
They won't
and
play
you could see Loud
anything like
taking advantage of the way that
out of the
DRX had
box.
their defaults.
And
So their
everything is
default would
very
be they'll
default.
just hang around, take A lobby control.
They will
until 1
wait for
minute, make a
40
call.
seconds, 50
Yeah,
seconds.
and every time Loud would do
Peek there,
a
peek
few
out
plays
there.
to disrupt that A lobby
Boring.
presence and really take control of the map. Like
You watch
especially Aspas.
Apac, it's
Like
very
on
interesting.
round
I
4,
will watch
he
this time. I haven't
took the
watched, but I
initiative
will
of
watch.
going and flanking that C
Right,
long.
this time it will
That
be
C
very
long
good
area,
because
just
you know
falling
in
them
our
off
Apac there will
and
be
another round
Korea
on round
also.
6 where he
So
just
DRX,
raised up,
PRX,
cleared that
oh
one of
my
that A
god.
default.
Yeah, I will.
I guess
He
only
received
one
that,
Indian
like,
team is
secured that
getting
A
the
lobby
slot,
presence and
but it's
pushed
still
DRX
good.
to the other side of the map.
Yeah, it was
I guess
really good
the-
out of Loud in particular, and I think a lot of
Global
this first
esports.
half was kind of shown by the head-to-head between
but
the
are
two
they
comps.
good?
DRX went back to Comfort, and Loud led into
don't
the
know.
comp that a lot of people are
They
playing,
might
where the
change-
power comes down to
they
the
might,
initiators and the
change
retakes, and we
their,
saw it just there in that
like
round.
all
They're
the
really good
franchise
at these
will
coordinated
mostly
set
all the
plays
teams
to
will change their
reclaim space
team.
on the map,
Like
particularly
the
when
roster,
Aspas is so
obviously.
proactive with taking space and finding those flanks.
Yeah, but
Because
now
they
I
have
think this is a
a time
situation
of
set
6
where,
months, right?
you
The
know, DRX,
franchising
they're gonna
starts
have to
like
get
the
their
matches
mental in
start
check.
from
They
February.
can't come back, but
Okay.
they have to win.
I was
some
reading
big
Optic
missiles
might
in order to do
leave
it.
and
Yeah, that's the
DSM will
biggest thing
hire
that I'm
the
looking for as we get ready to
Optic
spawn.
roster.
entire
They need
roster.
to have a
That's
more
crazy.
But it's
meaningful
very
amount of
difficult
communication.
because some of them have very long
Even
contracts, so that they have to pay a
more
lot.
attackers
Yeah.
favored rather than defenders.
They just
side,
got
so they need to
signed
keep
by
things off
Optic.
strongly. RB, he's starting to heat up. Mako is right there with him. We're seeing those shades of those players that we did get the
Because
glimpses
it's
of
not at all
on
that
Breeze, but
like if you
Stacks
have
in
one
particular, he is now
champion
the
of
IGL for
any
this
other
squad.
event,
It's
you'll
changed
getting
hands
slot.
once more from
It's
Cess
entire
to him.
the
He's
slot
taken
thing
up
is an
that
entire
mantle,
different thing.
Up until this point, up until this series, it has been looking utterly fantastic, but he is the linchpin. If he falls
Like
apart
it was told that if you watch
you see him
like
getting frustrated in some of those reactions.
who all are
DRX need to
getting
keep their mental
slot
in
in
check. This
attack.
game is not away from them.
Like you
Yeah,
will
but
be
it feels like in
really
history,
amazed.
this 5-6 curve
Like it
has
is
come
told,
down to the
like
emotion.
it
It's
will
come down
be
to them
really
getting
well.
deep and things slipping away.
Because the
They don't
teams
want
that
that
are
to happen
getting
again.
in
They're not
attack,
out of this game. They're not
none
out
of
of
them
this
have,
series. They need
I
to
guess,
collect
gone
because
to
there's still a
champions
good chance
also.
of them to come back.
Yes, absolutely. I think if they can close this out, if they can
DRX
bring this
is
one back,
getting,
it is going to
but I
reinvigorate
heard
them,
that
and Icebox absolutely
Korea
can
and
be theirs.
Japan are getting
let's
more
see if
number of
that's gonna
slots, like
happen or
2
not.
or
Can
3
DRX
each.
bounce back,
And
or
rest
will
of
Loud shut
Southeast
them out with
Asia
a
and
2-0
South
win?
Asia
Mitch and
are
Tom,
getting
over to
only
you.
4 slots. So it's
Well, Tom, at an
bad.
8-4 scoreline,
Obvious.
it is tough to believe in
Actually,
DRX. They move
it's
to their
reasonable
defense.
because
Take a look at
the
that stat
gaming
down the
scene in
bottom.
Korea and Japan is
63%
far
attacking round
better
win
than
rate.
here.
We're trying to build hope
Just
and
see,
storylines
Korea, they
here.
have their
This
entire
sounds
land, like
quite
this
bleak.
qualifier.
Give you a little
Every
tone.
time they have their
Buzz
land,
has had
own
a
land.
pretty poor performance at every
And in
international
Japan,
event
they
he's
have a
been at.
stadium
Now he
for
comes
this.
into this one, second EA. It's
Literally
looked
1
incredible.
lakh people
Again, when it
sit in
gets
that
to this stage
stadium
of
and
the
see them
tournament,
play.
we see a different
That is
DRX. We
crazy.
see a choky DRX.
So,
And right now, it looks
don't-
like Vader's got his grip on them. Loud
So
planting
obviously
in.
it will
They've
be
got it for
favorable for
3 on
this
C
guy,
and a
right?
retake attempt in the pistol for DRX. They have won 0 out of 3 so far. They need this one to give them a foothold.
They have a lot of utility to get back in. The stuns, the paranoias. This is where DRX were at their best, was in the retakes.
Great nade.
Now they've already managed to at least stun up some of these players. RB on the way back through is going to get one, but it's a little disjointed. They're reliant on Buzz to lead the charge, and they're just getting slaughtered.
They used their
It's left
utility
all
and
up to
then
Stacks,
push.
and he gets nothing
And
done.
then they push after
It will
2
be
yards.
9-4. Loud. They convert every pistol, maybe in the whole series, because the
That is
fact is
crazy.
DRX now need to fight back.
They need to fight back from this position, and it certainly ain't pretty. Look at this nade that came through. It was actually a little bit earlier. You saw it get thrown down by Aspas as they put all that utility you mentioned, Tom, into play. They were stunning, they were blinding, they were looking to seize the space, and in that moment, we had a nade go through that stopped the push entirely. It ruined the timing of DRX, something that they were so good at on Breeze, if you remember, and now it's
That's
come
so
back to bite
cool,
them on
this
Loud side.
But that's the
Loud
thing,
guys.
historically, they were always fantastic on the retakes of this map, but yeah, the fact that Loud are so prepared for that is great. Oh, it's a little awkward, but they'll spam him through in the end. And now in an afterplant scenario, again, there's barely anything to play with here, Mitch.
Yeah, look, even the guy coming up behind is going to be caught by the trap. You don't have the element of surprise for Zest. There you go. Little sound cue, and that's all they need. Sassy picking up Buzz. They know there's one waiting for them behind. I mean, with the classics, it's already hard enough, but once these guys have the map control contained and they know where to focus, able to take duels as a team, there's not really much that you can do. This is double digits for Loud, locked in, guaranteed, and the only question remaining is whether Zest can even manage to just get close to being die at this point, but he wants to do damage on the way back out. But remember, he triggered the trap a little earlier, so they're staying well away from him.
I guess the main thing is just
Oh,
don't
yeah,
die to
GG's.
Sassy. Allow him to have Nightfall online going into the first
I
fire
feel
round.
bad
That
for
would be
DRX though.
Yeah, it would be.
I
They
don't
have
feel
such a
bad for
good run.
anyone anymore because they have like,
I feel
they
like it has to be
play
a
so
confidence
good
performance.
in
Even winning
like
this round with, like, two
Korean
players alive it's not gonna fill me
qualifiers.
with
Like they
anything but
steamroll
worry.
everyone
You know what they're
3-0.
saying right now?
They don't lose a map, you know, the
DRX can
entire
do it.
tournament.
Wait.
Everything they won with the win, and then they
should be
come
able to bring
to
us across the line.
champions
They've had the clutches
We
before.
can
and
do it.
masters,
We can do
and
it.
they're not able to
I don't
like
think you should be giving
win
inspirational
like
speeches anytime soon.
respectively.
Yeah.
No, they've done it before. They can do it now. There's 6 rounds
It
between them.
like it makes
Loud
me feel
again
like
are
we are
setting their
so
sights
bad.
on the
This
C site,
Asia is
and
so
look at
bad.
how quickly they're approaching. But Aspas
And
has been
only
caught the stun,
Europe
fantastic.
and
The trades, though, ever in
North
Loud's
Americans
favor.
and
Stack
Americans
stuck
can
on the
play
back
this
side.
game.
He's got one for free. They've
Not
left him
like that, I don't
completely
know why.
unaccounted for. Maybe a chance here
See-
with the reposition being fantastic. He'll be traded out, but he's done well enough to equalize.
He's given them a chance, and he's bought time, more importantly. They should have an idea. The Buzz is on the flank, although he's going to do some extra damage. The fight versus Pancada is a little awkward, and his teammate Zest can't really find an angle to take this fight. In fact, they're going to pressure him. They're going to push him, and in this corner might be a nasty surprise. I don't think they'll expect it.
Nice.
DRX, they will bounce back, give themselves a 5th, but again, it was costly and had to be a strong performance from Stax.
It really did, but he put up the hold in the moment that matters. He answered their call, 5 rounds between them. But the problem here, Tom, is that this was a close round. It looked good from the perspective of winning a round for DRX, but the reality is it came close, and that wasn't the buy
It was
round for
mostly
Loud.
specters.
Yeah.
And less Zest with a double opener is still something to worry about. Now, I will say I kind of expect DRX to almost play a retake setup again. You just look at the ults that they have, it's sublime to go in for those retakes. Instead, though, Loud challenging mid early, and you can see that Buzz is already set up with deep A control. Loud are more than happy to just try and put this pressure on elsewhere.
Oh, they're pressuring me so bad.
There's 120 on the clock, so much time to work with. Seems they know that RB's in this corner, and they want him gone. Cost him bit of HP, bit of utility. He's going back in to reclaim that control. As Loud attempt to really drag those rotations, the only man watching this cross is Buzz, and the smoke now denies the information. This could be a fake, but it's not. The entirety of the attacking side seems to be shifting towards this A side. But as you said, it's likely to see a retake setup from these guys. Rolling Thunder and Nightfall to work with. They currently are playing on the site. They want to hold this and not give Loud any ground.
I wonder if he's going to use it. The problem is he's being hit by utility. Buzz does well, and then Zest is able to pounce off the back of it.
Nice trades.
Sassy alongside Les. 2v4. Dare I say it.
They've lost these before on DRX.
Yep, that was it.
Sassy and Les making their way in, and ult's still online. One kill, and they might trigger it. They might pull it. Looks like they're going to be moving back to long to work together on this. Last has a TP to get out of here. He needs to put his second one down. Wants to claim some space, but 10 seconds left. It's now or never, and it looks like they'll make the call for the ladder.
Yeah, good from DRX. Like, they've kept this one cleaner than the last, and it was mainly just off the team play, the interplay from Buzz and Zest. I was a little bit worried with the utility coming through that Zest might not be able to swing off that. But the fact that he gets a couple and then stays alive is crucial to the round. Economy for Loud's a little bit weird though, because you still have the Nightfall. Okay, you're not going to have yourself the tour de force right off the bat.
Only 4 rounds.
Maybe get a kill. Things might get a little bit interesting.
I love those classes, man. 10-6, 4 rounds between them. DRX coming in still with the ability to play retake on those ultis, but ultis are starting to get pretty close for Loud as well. You know, with the rounds that they've got, a decent buffer to work with, they're definitely not out of hot water just yet. It looks like when we talked about the garage play last round, they didn't really manage to push RB out of it. This time they're going to change it up and look for B.
Ultimate meta.
Up close to smoke a Stinger. It's going to catch him with
It's better than Spectre in many ways.
From Stacks, and they double up with RB down.
He's coming close because he knows the fire rate is so much. See, the fire rate is so much. If you like come closer, you will beat a Vandal easily.
One away from the Rolling Thunder, and in fact they're going to throw in the Nightfall now. Just get that extra information, take away some of the HP and remove all the sound so they can just sprint back through. Marco, he's trying his best just to stick this, but he's going to go down to the Aftershock.
Oh, why are you sticking?
With an explosive round, grant themselves 11, and DRX, well, they've got to feel a little foolish, but I'll be honest, could you really expect Aspas to do that?
No, listen, you can expect him to be on the site, you can expect him to swing, but he was all the
They're
way
giving them
up
so
in
much
their
space now, that's the reason.
Stacks on that
So
swing,
much space.
without the cover, without the player to trade. I mean, that is just a massive mistake. The problem is both players that were on that
there was
side
nothing in
wanted to
B.
use their moment. That was the issue.
Well,
You didn't have a
no
third guy to watch it.
KJ
Through a
utility,
Prowler,
no
and
nothing.
while he's throwing the Prowler, he's about to ult. So it just...
He was holding garage,
mistiming.
and now they
It's an
put
oversight.
it in
It's
B,
a small
he comes
thing,
garage.
And the only
They're
risk
reading it so well.
was that he would be there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was. And now, look what they've got. A Rolling Thunder and a Showstopper coming into this round. Ulti's used on DRX's side previous. They don't have their Nightfall to work with. Their economy is on its last legs, Tom. If they lose this, they're down and out, but they've taken less to start.
Yeah, and that will at least give them a Blade Storm for the next round as a worst case. Again, though, some utility being burnt out by Aspas. It does seem like the plan is to go back towards that C site, at least for now. They're really trying to battle a little bit versus Marco. The real fight is going to be between them and RB, though, who's actually starting to rotate
Sadak
back.
has
This
his
might give up
ultimate.
quite a bit of control.
Well, that Rolling Thunder is just putting the turret out of position, although it's still going to catch
Counter
him on the way
it.
through. But the only only damage that comes from it is, well, from RB is the turret. Showstopper right into the back. Pancat is already dead. They're starting to clean up some kills on DRX.
And he gets a
Haven't
kill.
dealt with Aspas. The site is theirs, the plan could be as well. And Buzz is a little too far away to capitalize on these kills. Oh, he's dodged the hunt.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. He might be able to make a move as they go for the plant, but he's not going to win the battle. Sassy holding the angle, lands the instant headshot. And now, as you mentioned,
They were
DRX,
1 man down.
well, saying they're on their last legs would be an understatement. They're in critical condition as they're going to come in
They
for
have
a
no
weak
money now.
purchase, a Blade Storm on Buzz, a lockdown,
They have no
which, as we
game now.
mentioned, especially on this map,
No
is
money
so
is a big
incredibly
thing.
weak. I'm intrigued to see what they even try and pull out here.
We saw the last 3 rounds of the previous half have
Like,
RB
why the fuck was that
multiply his kills
Omen
by
picking,
10
giving them a
across
headshot
the
angle?
When he got up to 10, he's now sat on 12. Yep, some decent rounds, 3 decent rounds, but outside of that, DRX
Buzz didn't even get to off the whole defensive round.
Second on the stats board for this event. He hasn't been showing up. He's been shut down every step of the way, and it is yet again the case. Blade Storm removed. Good kill for Stacks. The spam back is strong. He was decayed so much, but his health is coming back. Makes it a little easier, but that lockdown isn't going to get the space they wanted out of it. RB with a drop, but only 1, and it's falling apart.
Never
Loud are
mind.
able to close it with 3 quick kills. And for the second time, they will be going to the upper finals versus a North American team. This year has been fantastic for this team. A hiccup at the previous
Boring
event, but
matches.
since that, they've come into this
Now
looking
if Optic wins,
revitalized.
it's Loud versus Optic
Unbelievable
again.
game played here today.
But that's the thing, we question after Copenhagen if this team was
So I
going
want
to be
Oyaxed
a
to win
one-hit
now.
wonder. Was it just something they came in one event, they had a great run in the upper bracket, and then it never happened again? Well, they've made the podium already. They are at the point
That
where
is
they will
crazy,
go either
bro.
straight through into the grand final if they win
What,
their next
what?
match, or they head into that lower
DRX
one anyway.
losing like
Another
this,
fantastic
getting
tournament
dominated.
from this Brazilian squad. And well,
It's so
let's put it
crazy.
this way. They have put their region on the map for a second time. This is the team that their Brazilian fans are going to support, and for DRX, unfortunately, history has repeated itself once again.
They made a mistake over
Oh,
on Loud
manager
versus
bro
Crew
with
in
a
the
big
previous
booty.
event, and then they lost to Optic, a team that's garnered the respect.
Who do you think Optic or Exit?
Event
Who
in
wins?
and event out. Then you move into the event before that. It was
Actually, it's
Optic
very
out there again.
difficult to win. That's a very good matchup because Except is a very
But in the elimination match, they were
attacking team,
gone.
Yeah.
Now,
and Optic is
here we
defending.
are. They've made it through to the upper finals. They might even have a chance to face Optic
Optic
again.
always has like
Either that or it's gonna be
55% and
Exet.
45%
Either way,
win
it's the same
chance.
flag on the other side of the stage and an opportunity to once again defeat the
Because
North
that FNS
Americans
guy
and
is there,
walk
na
into the
finesse.
grand finals
Yeah.
as the first team in
It's
there.
too good,
And that's the
man.
thing,
The
I
idea
feel
is
like
too
going
good.
through in this sort of playoff
Big brain
bracket
guy.
right now, they're the
Big
team
brain.
that I feel
And
like
of
is
course
most
an
complete
Indian.
in
Yeah.
terms of every single member having a solid
Even their
tournament.
coach
When you
is
look at the top
Indian,
of this
right?
game,
Chet?
you've got
Indian,
Salak and
Chet
Sassy,
Singh.
the
Yeah.
experienced men on the block leading the charge. Aspas has been having some better games over the last couple.
That's the reason we
Hankada
win.
has probably been one of the best players in this tournament, and that's before you even mention Les. So
I
it is
don't know,
really
in
exciting
India
seeing
we
just
are
the sheer
so
depth
weak,
that this
I don't
roster
know
has,
why.
but also now
Yeah,
showing
but
in
we're
this
gonna
game
have
that they
reasons.
also have resilience. Because in that first map, we were basically calling it done. We were like, okay, we're going to go into this one. It'll be the same
hope
as before.
next
We'll go
year
into map
G
2,
does
the choice of
something.
DRX,
Yeah,
and
I
they will
think
manage to
the
run it
grind
They-
Problem
potential is very
DRX
less.
hadn't
People-
taken a loss
I
so
think
far,
they
and
will.
the
They
second
are.
lose
They
a
told
map,
that if they will
unfortunately,
be
it seems they
getting
fall
the
back
slot,
into
which
old
they will be
habits.
getting
And that's the real scary
because
thing for
Riot
DRX.
has
You know,
one
they
like
were in
not
such a good
officially
spot
but
after
told
that
that
first map.
at
We
least
saw it.
one slot to each
We saw it
region,
time and time
and
again
in
this event.
SA
They pushed to
there is no
OT
other team.
every time. They've had these incredibly long. I think one of their maps was
SA
like an hour and
either
36
VLT goes or
minutes.
G
The
goes, and
last
VLT
one,
is
it
not
wasn't
going,
on.
so
They
G
hit, it
is
wasn't
the
even
only
on.
priority.
And then they come in here.
So
They failed to hit that
they will
OT.
be getting. So
failed
they
to close
told
the
that
game.
if they
They're
get the slot, they will shift to
unlosable.
Korea for a year.
Like that's going to be a nasty game
That's
to fall into
amazing.
the lower bracket. But that's all
That's
things
needed,
to come.
na.
We're going to be
They
Yeah.
can't.
much closer
They need
to
better
home. The in-zone
competition.
MVP, Aspas, Sadak, Les
In
Pancon. As
India,
said,
they
there is
already win
consistency
everything.
within this team. You genuinely could put every single member on the list. I
All
almost
right,
feel
bro.
like the fact that the borders
I'll,
on there is a little,
Okay.
I'll
little
probably
bit
join you
offensive.
for the
Like,
next
come on,
game.
guys. Like,
I
I'm
need to
right
get a
here.
fan, bro.
I'm
My
right
fan
here,
broke
but
down
I'm
and
wearing
it's so
green.
hot.
Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not
Uh,
actually a,
like
a dig
table
at
fan
Sassy.
or a
That's
ceiling
more of a
fan?
dig at me. but
Ceiling fan.
I guess I'll just have
No,
to
not the
do that.
ceiling fan.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he
sorry.
wears the
Table weren't able to.
Obviously, can't get a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
incredible game. I was
So,
expecting
bro,
a third map.
if
thought
I
it
make
was
it
gonna be
time,
Xbox, especially after the first win.
I'll message you on
Kinda
Discord, right?
Loud's way. It was a
Yeah,
close one.
Oh, okay. See you, bro.
Devastating. We'll find out whether it's a rematch of Optic or whether it's XSET. That's the next match up to determine your second upper finalist.
Man, I have to go buy this fan real quick. I'll probably, hopefully I make it back before our exit game so I can stream it anyways. I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, in a few hours. And yes, GG's to DRX and Loud. And yes, that's it.